because I just went all weird. Oh well. Yeah, I'm back. I don't know what happened. It just told me my connection was unstable, and then I realized I was talking to myself. So I reloaded, and then everybody disappeared. You can't refresh, without losing everybody. It's just stupid, really. Really is silly. I don't know what happened. Well, I've got 4 minutes remaining on my other video, so maybe it will stabilize once I get that done. So, well, I've got 2 here. It says I've got 9, but everybody must be being quiet. It says I've got 11, but I don't know where everybody is. They're all not saying anything. Unless the chat's frozen again. Some days we have a wonderful evening and everything goes well, and other days it goes peculiar right from the word go. Oh, excuse me. No, it was me. It was me that had sort of something wrong with my connection. So sorry about that, people, but I just renewed it all, refreshed it all, and lost you all. I wish it wouldn't do that. I wish it would just refresh and keep everybody still in the chat. Hi there, Beverly. It says there's 13 people here, but nobody's speaking unless my chat's frozen again. It is so weird. This is before the trolls even started. We're having a weird night of it already. Hi, Kathy. Did I tell you all I've managed to get some more of this colour from Lolly's? She's got it back in again, people. It's called Mania. It's back in. Woo! So I've got some more. Not got time to start making another shawl just yet, but I've got the yarn for when I want to start it. Yeah. I'm sure this chat must have frozen again. Oh, you're on a fisherman knit sweater. Yeah, I love those colours. That's my shawl. I won't part with it for anything. So everybody's admired it so much that I've got enough to make another couple of shawls for my Etsy shop. I don't know whether or not I will make the exact same pattern. I might make one in the exact same pattern, but I might make one in another pattern, just to be a bit different. Maybe 2 people won't want the same sweater. I don't really know. Not a sweater, shawl. See, I've not got any brain today. It's not with me. I think it's still in the bed that I got up out of very late this morning. I am just not sleeping. And I put the fan on so it was cool enough. But I'm just waking up. Oh, dearie me, Kathy. People keep saying to me that I must be going back in. I've had depression at times in the past. That maybe I am a bit depressed because I'm sleeping all the time and don't want to do anything. And I haven't left the house. What for? Since last Saturday, I went out to get a bit of food. But this Saturday, I phoned it in. I just had it delivered because I just could not face going out. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm not agoraphobic at all. I will go out. It's just, I just don't feel like it. Yeah, I don't like to say I'm depressed. I like to say I'm having a down day, because that's being rude to anybody who really suffers with depression. If I say, quite blithely, oh, I've got depression, that I don't have. If I have depression, it's very mild. It's not like, anybody who really suffers hard with it. So I don't want to belittle anybody by saying I have it, because I don't consider I do. I get depressed, but that's a different thing altogether. You feel that way a lot, do you? Yeah. You know those feelings when you just want to go back to bed, don't you? And you think, I can't be bothered with today. Just want it to be over. And yet at the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I've got housework to do. I've got this to do. I've got that to do. But then the other half of me says, oh, blow it. Let's just go back to bed. Oh, you're an agoraphobic. I'm not agoraphobic, Kathy. I just don't want to go out on certain days. Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of those days, though, lately. I think it's because I'm not sleeping properly. If I could get what I call a good night's sleep, then I would be back on. Oh, well, I can't say mine's me menopause, can I? I'm 72. So, yeah, I get fidgety, but that's my legs. I've got fidgety legs. You know, they drive me crazy when I get into bed as well. They start fidgeting about. They like have movements of their own. They're like jumping about on their own. And it's totally involuntary and it really annoys me. You feel like you should be able to control your own legs jerking about. But some days I can't. Yeah, they won't prescribe anything. They'll just say take a Piriton or take a, you know, one on antihistamines or something, but they don't really work. But some days I'm fine. Some nights I'm fine. And other nights I wake myself up because my legs are all over the bed and everywhere, and I can't stop them jumping about and they annoy me. Oh, hi, Sissy. How are you? Yeah, restless legs are terrible, aren't they? Yeah. But I've got poor circulation and that's part of it. Yeah, I'm well apart from not sleeping very well, Sissy. Which, you know, I think it's a product of the heat and whatever else it could be, but you know, it's sort of annoying. I just want to go to bed and have a really good sleep. I mean, like last night I had 6 hours, but it was like in 3 hours, and then it was another 3 hours when I should have been awake. Yeah. So I went to sleep the second time when I should have been getting up, if you know you understand what I'm saying. But half the night I was just awake. Oh, hi, Amir. Hi, Magali. Yeah, mine are swollen too, yeah. It's terrible, isn't it, when you get swollen legs? And they don't do anything. All they do is give you water tablets that makes you get up in the middle of the night to piddle. They don't do anything for my swollen legs, but they make me piddle a lot. Oh, hi, Dee. I didn't see you sneaking. I'm glad somebody thanked you for coming in. Oh, dear. No, the heat's not helping, but it has been raining here, but we've had no thunderstorms like they've had down south. I mean, Zoe's got a barbecue tomorrow, so let's just hope that the thunderstorms stay away for her. I haven't tried melatonin. No, I take so many pills for this, that, and the ruddy other, you know. I'm reluctant to add any more, you know, to it. You know, I feel as though I should be able to go to sleep. Oh, it's all natural, is it? Like it's herbal, is it? I might try some of that then, because I'm just so fed up and not going into a deep sleep. I mean, half of it is I wear a CPAP a CPAP machine, and it's not fitting right. It's blowing, and I had an appointment to get a new machine and mask, but they cancelled it right at the last minute. And they said they would send me out another one, another appointment. But I'm still waiting, so maybe I should give them a reminder. Because with them cancelling it instead of rearranging it, I might have slipped through the net, if you know what I'm saying. So, I mean, half of it, I think, is the mask's not fitting properly. I hope somebody understands what I'm talking about when I said my mask's not fitting properly. You know, I'm not Hannibal Lecter or anything like that. It's a breathing mask for my CPAP machine, and it's got to be an airtight fit over your nose and that. Otherwise, if it starts leaking, then you're not getting the full effect. Because I stop breathing when I'm sleeping. So the mask sort of keeps me awake, if you know what I mean. Not awake, keeps me asleep kind of thing. It stops me keep waking myself up. But because I'm waking myself up all the time, I think it's because it's not fitting properly. Yeah. Oh, Lolly's Little Shack, yeah. Yeah, I got some more of these. I got, they're the Aran cakes. That one's called Mania, that colour. Yeah, the mask's wonderful when it fits right, but I had to get rid of the one that they gave me the last time because it just wasn't fitting at all. It was so small, it just fitted over the edge of my nose. So every time I turned over in bed, I lost it, yeah. My mind goes a million times. I don't know why, but I start thinking of crochet designs when I'm in bed. These wonderful designs come into my head. And yes, I know what you mean, Dee. Mine is because I've got such hamster cheeks. Apparently it's this here that causes the masks not to fit properly. So I did suggest that, you know, instead of keep messing about with all these different masks, that they gave me a little mini facelift, got rid of them. But that was poo-pooed, of course, because we're talking about the NHS. You know, they don't do anything what they class as non-surgical, you know, cosmetic. Oh, my creative time is always when I'm supposed to be going to sleep. Yeah, I start thinking of patterns that I've seen and my mind gets overactive. And I used to keep a pad and pencil by the side of the bed, you know, to draw everything out because I have these brilliant ideas. And then when I wake up in the morning, I can't remember what they were. Yeah, mine's the same, Owl. It's just, I'm thinking about things to make and, you know, my mind just won't stop churning. It's going chickadee-doom, chickadee-doom. And I'm so tired, and I know I'm so tired, and my body's knackered. And yet my mind won't stop churning and going on and on and on. And I start doing the, you know, counting things and putting myself on a beach, listening to the waves, counting, you know, like 1, 2, you know. I do all these distraction methods, trying to, you know, turn my mind onto something else, but it doesn't work. Yeah, I might have to try some melatonin. It's only, oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me, excuse me. Hi there, Nicole. Are you enjoying your little break? I mentioned you on my video that should be uploaded now. I said I hoped you two were having a good time. Hi, Shirley. I can read charts, certain ones, but the ones that usually defeat me are the ones that come with drops patterns. Hi, Darlene. I'm doing all right, thank you. I just find drops charts extremely hard. Marcia said, hi, Jan, I finally catch you live. Well, if you're there, Marcia, I can't see you. Oh, you've got to go. Right, bye, Sissy. Oh, Jenny says hi. I hope you two are enjoying your break. Yeah, I hope we all sleep through the night as well, yeah. The blue I'm using in my project is just an ordinary cone of machine cone. And I've got so many of them that I decided to, you know, start using them up for crochet or something like that. Oh, the drops patterns, they're really hard. I mean, Hannah from the, what's she called, the Cozy Cottage Corner, she struggles with them. So I'm not the only one that struggles. I've knitted a pattern of drops, and I did manage that one. Although I must admit I'm good at doing a lot of what I call jiggery pokery. If I think, that doesn't sound right, I do it my way. But I've not actually tried I don't think I've tried a crochet pattern. Yes, I did. I tried a pair of slippers, but there was no chart on that. There was a pair of like chunky house slipper things with a pom-pom on. And they came, oh, thank you, darling. The slippers came out well, except I made a rubbish pom-pom and it started all falling out when I was wearing them. I was leaving bits of wool all over the house. But I really don't like anything on my feet. I've got nothing on my feet at the moment. It has to be really cold before I put anything on my feet, apart from slippers, of course. But socks and me don't see eye to eye. Yeah. Are you listening as well, Jenny? I know she's not saying anything. She's leaving it up to you, Nicole. I hope she's busy crocheting or knitting or whatever she's doing. Yeah. In fact, I hope you all are. I hope I'm not crocheting on my own or knitting on my own. I don't mind what you do. I can do some graphs, I must admit, because I'm going to be doing the virus shawl, and this is a graph from Lisa Pine Notes, and I find that graph very, very easy to follow. Some of them I don't, but that I can understand perfectly. In fact, I understand that better than actually watching the YouTube channel. Hi, Darren. How is the weather? It was raining just a while ago, really raining, and it was actually hailstoning at one point. But I was quite glad because they've got a festival in the park near where I live. And today was tribute bands for rock and roll. And as I said a bit earlier, they weren't much of a tribute. Anyway, they seem to have gone silent now, thank goodness. Tomorrow is more quieter, I think. We've got tribute bands, you know, a bit more like Fleetwood Mac type of thing. So, oh, hi, Dawn. Yeah, I'm doing well. What have we got? Oh, the talk of depression caught your attention. Yeah, I think it's the weather. I'm just a bit down and out, darling. It's just nothing serious. The Lashira. Oh, hi. Hi. Yeah, you have a chat amongst yourselves, girls, because that's what and boys, because that's what I like you to do. Get friendly with each other, get to know each other. It's nice. It's like a community channel, so I don't want you to feel shy about talking to anybody in the chat. It's quite fine with me. I like it when you won't make friends with each other. It's a good chat then when everybody's chatting. Hopefully we'll build more friendships that way. And then you all get to know each other, and then you can chat offline. No, I haven't actually been getting any time with Gigi this last couple of weeks because his daddy's still not working, so obviously he's at home with his daddy. He's fine. He's absolutely fine. I will be getting him for 2 weeks very shortly when they go on holiday. So, yeah, no, Gigi doesn't live with me, unfortunately. Well, I've been the same, Darren. It was about 3 o'clock when I actually had my morning shower. Yeah, I put my face on and did my hair a bit. As you can see, not very well. But some days it's a big, big effort to actually get out of bed because I'm quite happy. I'm not asleep. I just lie there in bed and I go into a little sort of a daydream. I don't know what I go into. My mind just drifts off somewhere. And I don't know where it goes, but I wish it'd come back. Yeah. Or I sit on the end of the bed and I find that I just stare at the wardrobe and like there's nothing at the wardrobe. It's a white wardrobe and I'm just staring at the wardrobe, and then I look at the clock and about 10 minutes has gone past and I've just been staring at the wardrobe. Oh, God, I sound like a right one, don't I? All I can say is I just blank or whatever I do. I can't tell you what I've been thinking about because I don't remember what I've been thinking about. But obviously, I do go off on one. I mean, I know I've got traits of narcolepsy, so that because of my sleep apnea, and that I do space out a lot in the daytime. And I find myself doing that and wondering what happened to the last half hour, you know. I mean, they've tested me for all sorts of things, but they just say that narcolepsy and sleep apnea go hand in hand, so. But I don't do it when I'm out in public and I don't do it when I'm with people. It's just, oh, your phone's ringing. Oh, I hope it's somebody nice on the end and not a telemarketer. I've stopped answering my house phone. Unless I can see who it is. I've got one of those call answering things, so unless I can recognise the number, I just don't answer it anymore. If anybody wants me, they ring my mobile. Yeah, Sue said she was going to ring me tonight, so if she rings while I'm on here, she'll have to be part of the chat. I don't think she will at this time of night, no. She just said she'd ring me today if she was feeling a bit better. But perhaps she's not feeling a bit better. She had the roots taken out of under one of her tooth that had broken off, snapped off. And so she's suffering a bit yesterday, so that's why I didn't see her. I wonder if it's safe to open my patio door. I'm getting really, really hot. Maybe I should just put the fan on because they might still be making a row. Oh, bye, Lashira. Because I'm sure it's not me, my oil burner. Yes, I know she's better get better soon because she's had a lot on her plate recently. You know, with her she was looking after her elder grandchild while her parents had gone on holiday because she's like 16 now and she didn't want to go with them. So, of course, you know, you can't leave a 16-year-old on their own in a house on their own, can you? You know what I mean? So, Grandma had to step in. So, oh, hi. I feel awful calling you LM Louth. Hi, Jane. Yeah, I'm going to have to plug this fan in. I'm absolutely melting here. Some sweat dripping off me. Oh, Lisa. Right, Lisa. Just excuse me one moment while I plug in my fan. I'm getting too hot. Oh. Oh, dear. My overhead fan has started making some very, very loud, funny noises. The light above me's got a fan, you know, like the old-fashioned Casablanca fan. And it kind of worries me a bit, but it's more if I'm talking on the, you know, on the net, it just makes so much row that nobody can hear me. So I've put my cylinder, I've got a 12-cylinder fan, so I've put that on instead. I'll probably be too cold in a minute, but I just went all hot and bothered. And I can't say it's my age. My necklace, it's like, it reminds me of the gong, you know, that they used to hit in, what was it, one of those picture things when they used to go bong at the beginning of the cinema. It reminds me of that. I like great big statement necklaces, as you might have gathered, yeah. Oh, somebody said they missed me. I'm still here, Patty, if you're around. No, Kelly, I don't know whether she'll come on or not. She took the kids to a park. Her brother and his child were going to a park. And so they went there this afternoon, or, well, it's the imitation mother of pearl, I think. I don't think it's ever seen a real mother of pearl. I think it's probably plastic, but you never know. Oh, it's been very hot in England, yeah. So anyway, that's where she was going. She was going with her brother and his daughter to some park or other with the boys, because it was a park that had like a bit of a zoo, and, you know, the kids like animals and things. So I just hope she didn't get caught in any rain or anything, because it's really rained over here in some places. So I'm not quite sure which part she went to. She did tell me, but you know what I'm like, brain of a goldfish. So I would imagine she's probably tired out now, so she's probably gone to bed early, because it's 9:45 now, isn't it? Because she's been looking after her friend's children during the week as well, and she's got very, very tired. It's sunny. Yeah, it was lovely earlier on. It was like blue skies and white fluffy clouds. But then within a space of time, I started making a video. And before I'd even got halfway through the video, the white clouds had gone and it was just all the dark grey ones. And then it started to rain, all in the space of like a half-hour video or whatever it was. Oh, it's up now, by the way, people. It's up and available to watch when you're finished. Oh, I'm just looking at the still photograph, you know, that comes with it. I've got my arm up and all I can see is this massive arm. It's a good job I'm not proud, isn't it? We've not had any lightning yet. I believe other people have had it down south, but I don't like lightning at all. I just really don't. My dad tried very, very hard when I was a child to get me not to be scared. You know, we used to sit on the bottom of the stairs and open the back door, and my dad would be saying, oh, look, it's this, and oh, look, it's that. But I was still scared of it, and I'm still scared of it. I'm one of those people who rush around unplugging everything. So if it starts lightning, you'll find I've gone. I don't know why. I always think it's going to strike down the aerial of a TV or something. I'm just terrible. And when I had a car, if it started thundering and lightning while I was in the car, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether to pull over and stop or whether to carry on going. My ex used to say, well, you're less likely to get hit if you're a moving target. And I used to think, well, maybe I'm moving into it, not out of it. You know, I never knew what to do. What am I making? It's just a little pram blanket, or whatever you want to call it, like a Moses basket blanket, but it's big. I'm making it big enough to go on a pram. It's for my newest great grandchild, child, a little boy, obviously it's blue. I think he's been born in August, which is why I'm doing it in finer yarn, because I don't want it to be too heavy. You know, obviously they do need a little bit of a blanket shawl or whatever you want to call it. But, you know, they don't want anything too heavy. I'm just keeping on going until I think it's long enough, and then I'll just put a border around the end of it. Welcome to Miami, 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 Miami. Don't know why that just sprung into my head. I probably wish it hadn't. Yes, it's an alternating shell. You know, you do a shell and then a single crochet, and then you do it the opposite way around on the next row. Yeah. Oh, I'd never thought about that. Yeah, I'm a great grandma, but I must confess they're not my blood children, if you know what I mean. My son married into a family that was already grown. He was late getting married, I should say, and his wife is slightly older than he is. So he married into a family of teenagers, and now they're all got families. Well, this is the last one to start having a family. I think it's the middle one. The others have had children already. But she's having her first one. I think he's due in August, I'm not too sure. Oh, they've just put me on needles for my diabetes. But it's not insulin, it's some weird stuff that you take. It's meant to make your body produce its own insulin, or whatever it is. Well, they usually actually call me Jan, so it's only the babies that call me great gran. It's just the babies, because the others they're grown up now. And obviously the kids never called me grandma, because I didn't want them to, because they were teenagers. Do you know, they keep testing me and they keep saying my thyroid's fine, but I keep having me doubts. When I go to the hospital and different things, they keep saying, I need to test your thyroid, you know, but every time they test it, it comes back okay. So I don't know what's going on. Somebody else said I needed an in-depth. Hang on, where we gone now? It's advertised on TV here. It's supposed to work well. What are we? Oh, they just whiffle at me. I try reading and I fall asleep with the book over my face, so it works initially. And then I wake up about an hour later. I've tried reading again, but it doesn't work the second time. What is advertised on TV, Dom? What am I missing? I'm obviously missing some bits. Yeah, they don't tell me any results for it. The meds they have me on. Yeah, they've got me on, I don't know what. They're a needle injection. They're like, just you have to inject it into your tummy. Well, that's the fattest place I can find to inject it. What's all working on? Yeah, I've tried reading, and as I say, I read about half an hour, fall asleep, which is great, but I don't stay asleep. I just zonk out with my glasses on, and I usually wake up when my glasses start sticking in me, or my book falls on my face, or something like that. What's everyone working on? Well, I'm doing my baby blanket. I'm not sure. Christy's doing a scarf and beanie for a Christmas present. My goodness, you're starting early. I usually start panicking about the end of October. My part way of that is because I crochet from my Etsy shop, so that's partly why I don't. I usually get some orders around then, and then I'm then rapidly trying to catch up with friends. Oh, right, the new shots are advertised on TV here. Yeah, they're not insulin shots. They are shots to make your body produce more insulin, if that makes any sense to you. I'm still taking my pills as well, my tablets and all, but they don't seem to work. My blood sugar's always way too high, and I'm trying to be careful. Although I must confess I've got a chocolate bar tonight because it's Saturday, and that's my treat tonight. So I will be being naughty tonight. I've got my chocolate milk at the ready. I've got my bar of chocolate, so I am being naughty tonight. But it's not like I do it every day. I don't eat sweets every day. No, they just keep testing me for my thyroid. I think it's more like an underactive one than an overactive, because I'm putting on loads of weight and I'm trying desperately hard to not eat the wrong things. Like today I had a salad with some roast beef. I haven't had any bread or anything with it. It's just a salad, green leaf salad and tomatoes with some cooked roast beef. That's what I had. And it was only 2 narrow slices. It wasn't, home. Yeah. You're craving cheesecake? I haven't got any, sorry, I can't give you any. You're knitting socks at the moment. I had a spate of knitting socks. I went crazy knitting socks after socks after socks. And then I found out that I don't wear them. So I've got a drawer with socks in. My feet are so tiny that I can't actually give any away because they won't fit anybody else. Yeah, I'm not into sort of doing tutorials. People keep asking me to do them, but I'm just not into it at all because you have to get the permission of whoever made the pattern in the first place, or you have to make the pattern up and it's got to be your own. And I'm sort of pretty useless at that. I will tinkle about with patterns, but I can't say that they're my patterns. I just adapt things that I see. I can crochet things without a pattern, but that's not much help if I'm supposed to be doing a tutorial telling people what I've done, because I've got no patience. Absolutely have no patience. I found that out when I did a class at the local cafe where I was supposed to be teaching people to crochet. I was absolutely rubbish at it. You can either do it or you can teach it. Now, my friend, she wasn't as good a crocheter as I was at the time. She is now. And she was fantastic at showing people how to do it, yeah? She was such a great tutor. She had absolutely, zillions of patience. And, she finished up doing classes and teaching people and everything. And that would be a nightmare to me. Woolfest, I loved the atmosphere. I loved going and seeing everything. Of course, I didn't buy any yarn because I'm allergic to wool. So even though everything was really, really pretty, I didn't come away with any yarn because it was, when I say it's expensive, it probably isn't, because it's all hand dyed and hand spun, and obviously it takes a long time for these things to get done, so it probably is why it's expensive. So I'm not knocking it why it was expensive. It's just that I crochet a lot for Etsy, and I just could not pay like 20, 30 pounds for a skein to make maybe a pair of arm warmers or whatever, and pass that kind of money on to them. You know, if I was to start asking like 40 pounds for a pair of arm warmers or something, people would be like, why? Because they don't appreciate how much really good wool does cost, you know. So that's why I don't normally go for expensive yarn to pass on. I prefer something like, you know, Kemp's or somewhere where I see really good quality wool like Sirdar, which is normally about £3 a ball, you know, going for about £1 a ball. That is my kind of price range, because especially if I'm making a sweater or a cardigan, you know, and I could be taking like 20 balls. I mean, 20 balls, if I was paying £3 something a ball for it, was just, no. You can't even attempt to sell it, you know, just not at all. I mean, people said to me, why didn't I make another granny stitch jacket and put that on Etsy? But to be honest, all the work that was involved in it and all the stitching up of the ends and everything, people just wouldn't want to pay. I mean, the original one, which was on Anthropology, was £1,000 and something pounds. Now, I mean, mine wouldn't be that much, but it wouldn't be like the usual £40–50 that I normally charge, because it just wouldn't be, because it would take me so long, you know. I mean, I saw a video the other day. I think it's Anu, if you watch Anu, and she's made this absolutely gorgeous long crocheted skirt. It's beautiful, it is, but it's in such fine yarn, and I just know that even for myself, if I started it would never get finished. But you see, wasn't it beautiful? Absolutely lovely. I mean, I've marked it for later in case I ever feel stupid enough to start one, but I mean, a lady asked me one time to do her a crochet skirt, and she said it was too expensive to buy one. And I said, to be quite honest with you, you're better off buying that one, because by the time I bought all the crochet cotton for you and done it all, I would be charging more than what the shop is asking for that skirt. I told her quite bluntly. I said I wouldn't even produce it for that money, let alone anything less. I mean, I've had lots of ladies asking me, would I make things in fine yarn, you know, but they're all ladies who are like really plus size, you know. And I said, like, I'm not being funny, I will make you something, but you realise how much I'm going to have to charge you, because the fine yarn alone, if you want anything super duper, is going to be so expensive, and then it's my time. It could take me 2 or 3 weeks to make something for a larger lady in fine yarn. I once made a very fine waistcoat for a lady, and she was a 60-inch bust, and it took me forever to do it. And I was thinking, I'm not doing this again. No, not for what I could get for it. You know, I'm selling it for like £30 or something, and I'm thinking, no. I've wasted, well, not wasted, but I've spent a fortnight of my time solidly doing this for this lady. And then you get these idiotic people on YouTube saying, you should charge $10 an hour for your crocheting time. And I'm thinking, what does that add up to? You've been doing it for a fortnight. No, they really don't. There's lots and lots of people who have no conception. I mean, one lady actually said, when you retired, I thought you... Hi, Nina. Yeah, one lady actually said to me, when you retired, I thought you just did it to pass your time. Yeah, I'm really benevolent like that. I just like giving my time away. Yeah. You know, come off it. We all want to make a bit of profit. It's yarn money. When all said and done, that's what I never make any profit. All of my little bit of profit that I get gets ploughed back into making, you know, buying yarn and stuff. You know, I don't think anybody that crochets will ever make a living out of it unless you're really the top ones. No, you don't get paid for anything. Oh, yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, I don't want to fleece anybody out of loads of money, Dina, but you want to be paid something for your time. You're not like a charity, are you? You know, you're not doing it for nothing. But what tickles me is I see things on Etsy, you know, hats or something like that. And they don't appear to be much different to the hats I'm producing. And yet they're like 40 and £50, $50, whatever, for a hat. And when you look in the sold items, they've been selling them all. You know, you can look what they've actually sold if ever you're curious. You know, when you look at something, you think, my God, they're charging £40, £50 for a hat. And they're only basic hats, they're not fancy dancy things. And you look, and they have sold them. And I'm thinking, why can't I? Yeah, you see, silly me sells mine for about £10 or £15, you know. And even then, people don't seem to want to pay that. But I don't know. I shall never be rich. You'll never see me doing a whistle-stop tour of America. you know, Urban Gypsy is going to come round as a whistle-stop tour of America. I would be Dina if I had money, but unfortunately, I need a little bit of money. If you live in the UK, you know how little our old age pension is. And I mean, I could live off it just about, but no frills, no wool, no nothing. So that's why I crochet, really. It's for the jam on my bread. Plus, like you say, it does pass my time. Yeah, I think you'll starve a bit before you get any. I doubt that I would ever visit the US, even if I did have the money, purely because of the length of the journey, you know, in the plane. As you know, I've got terrible circulation and I've got spinal troubles and knee troubles. So I couldn't sit in any of the seats for long. I would have to stretch my legs out. So it would have to be kind of like business class where I could stretch out and have a little sleep or something. So I can't see that ever happening unless I win the lottery. I'd love to come if it's only to go in a Joann's and you know, one of these stores, big stores, yeah. You want me to visit you in Alaska? My son went to Iceland earlier this year. They went to watch the Aurora can't even say it now. Aurora Boa. They did actually see part of it, but it was a little bit misty. Oh, right. I'll see you later. I'll talk to you soon. Bye now. Yeah, it's the trip as much as the money. You know, I would be frightened of getting blood clots in my legs and things like that because I've got such poor circulation. That's why I would need to travel like where I could stretch out and put my feet up, which you can't do in normal seats, you know. So, well, there's no danger of that because Unless I win the lottery, you're all quite safe in the US. The only stops I'll be making will be through the courtesy of YouTube. I've not tried the corner to corner yet. I really haven't. I'm always late to a party. I was very late with the virus show. And I'm very late with the corner to corner. I'm just one of those kind of people. You've not tried it either. No, I don't know why I haven't tried it. It's not that I think it's going to be difficult or anything. It's just somehow or other I've never tried it. I know friends who absolutely love it, and especially the ones who do all these pictures in the corner to corner, don't they? They do all these fantastic, like Santa Clauses and stuff like that. Oh gosh, my thing keeps going off me. I've done quite a lot of virus shows. I went, was it last year? I went to the hospital so many times. Almost every week I was going to the hospital. And the virus shawl was my go-to. I used to carry it permanently in a little, project bag. So I knew that all I had to do was just grab my little project bag, and there was wool in there, partly done kind of thing, and my hook. So every time I went to the hospital, I used to get another few rows done. One day I nearly crocheted the whole shawl because I was there that long. Orthopedics in the UK is a place where you have to wait forever. And especially if you finally get in to see him and he says, oh, you need an x-ray. Then you have to go down to x-ray and wait another 3/4 of an hour. So I was very glad that I had my virus shawl with me at most times, yeah. Sometimes, though, taking it was like a good omen because I'd take it and I'd be straight in to see the specialist. But that wasn't in orthopedics, never in orthopedics. But they've sacked me from there. I don't go anymore because I refuse to have my left knee done. So I've been banned as being an awkward patient. I wonder if it's big enough. Oh, maybe not. I don't know how long they're supposed to be. How big a blanket's supposed to be. It's been many years since I made a blanket. It kind of looks big enough, but because the prams today are not like our old prams, are they? They're not, massive big coach built things like we had. But I'm just wondering if she turns the top down like that, it may not be quite long enough. No, I better put a few more rows in. Better too big than too little. Yeah, because you may use it for car seat or something, I don't want to make it too small. I mean, she's probably got sheets and things for her Moses basket when baby's newborn. This will probably be more for when it gets a little bit bigger and it's in its car seat or something. When the weather turns a bit colder, because baby's being born in August anyway, or the end of August, I think. So I've got to knit some cardigans, but I'm not making them too small. I mean, baby might be big, so if I make first size and it's born in August and it's hot, it's going to get worn at all, are they? So I'm going to make a second size, for more like the winter time. She has a tiny baby. They'll be wearing them next summer, but I just go by my baby. He was so big that, he was like in 6 to 12 months within a matter of a few weeks because he was such a big baby. So that's why I'm always reticent to spend a lot of time making cardigans for small You know, small cardigans for small babies. I might make her one, just in case baby's tiny. But anyway, they wear baby grows when they're new. We tend to put them in them all-in-one stuff, don't we? Onesies or whatever they call them. Oh, this is awful, isn't it? This granddaughter that I'm crocheting for, her sister was a wee bit like that. I made lots of things for her first two babies, and I never saw them wear anything. And my son actually said to me one time, "Don't make any more," because she's just being ungrateful. So I didn't make her any more for the next two babies. Anyway, I just said to my daughter-in-law, "Would this, this granddaughter want anything?" And she go, "Oh yeah." And I said, "Well, I didn't make anything for the babies because, like, she didn't like what I made for the first two great grandchildren." And she said, "Oh, I don't know where you got that from." She said she's paid to have some things knitted for for her younger baby. And I thought, maybe she thinks they're better than mine because she's paid to have them knitted. I don't know, but we'll see. But on the other hand, my younger niece, I mean, she's grateful for anything I make for the little girl. The little boy, I don't bother with unless it's hats anymore now, because he's at the age where he doesn't wear things hand knitted anymore. He'll wear a hat, I suppose, maybe mittens and scarves or something like that. But the little girl will wear cardigans and things, so I knit for her. I feel awful leaving the boy out, but I keep thinking, well, what's the point knitting them for him if he won't wear them? He's into all these sweatshirts, and then of course he's at school now. So he's got school uniform on all during the week, and it doesn't leave much time to. Whereas the little girl, she's still at the nursery, so they wear whatever they want. Although she does want to dress herself, which does result in some very strange combinations, like tutus and thick sweaters. They have to sort of steer her away sometimes from being, what was she into? Elsa, No, I can't explain that to you, Dawn. I thought the things I made for my first great grandbabies were nice, but obviously she didn't. So she did use the baby blanket that I made for her. She did use that. So this is why I'm sticking more to blankets and things for this baby. Because her mum's going to be, my daughter-in-law's going to be looking after the baby anyway, so I should imagine she'll use the blankets if her daughter doesn't. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Some people absolutely love homemade things, don't they? I mean, I was going out with a guy and his best friend at work, they were suddenly expecting a baby out of the blue. So I made some things for him, and oh my goodness, they were over the moon with them, and he kept saying how wonderful they all were and everything. And yet you get others who can't be bothered. You just give them, they go, "Oh, thank you." Oh, she can't be bothered buying anything. She's made it herself. Yeah. It depends who the people are, doesn't it? But I could never sell baby things. Maybe my stuff was old-fashioned, I don't know, but I just couldn't sell baby items, so I stopped making them. And I love making baby items, I really do. But if they don't sell, there's no point, is there? I tried them in the pastel colours like the old-fashioned style. No, they didn't want them. So I tried to make more modern things like in navy blue and red and things, but no, they didn't like them either. So you just don't know what people want these days. Right, Dawn, talk to you later, hopefully. Yeah, I find it difficult to judge, you know, what people actually want these days. Yeah, there's crochet. I would have done that as well. There's one thing about my nieces, they are always very grateful for the sweaters. They get like one a year. At Christmas time, I make them all either a sweater or I make them a cardigan or something every year, and they're always very grateful for them. And they do wear them. My elder granddaughter was the one that I made those two. If you remember, I did the Lunar Lovegood cardigans. I had an order for one, and I made that, made another one. And I made two for my niece, and she loved them as well. I made one for me that I wore when I went to Woolfest. There I was at Woolfest with my cardigan being admired by everyone. And I'm in the middle of a Woolfest wearing an acrylic Lurex cardigan, which I thought was rather ironic. I mean, I felt like taking photographs of the people that were wandering around because some of the things that people were wearing were absolutely gorgeous. You feel like stopping them saying, excuse me, but what pattern is that? But mostly they were knitted. Because it's more of a knitting show, really. There was a few crochet things, but mostly it was a knitting show. We do want to go to the Edinburgh Festival next year because Sue absolutely loves Scotland in any shape or form. And I've only been to Edinburgh very, very briefly. We were staying up in Scotland, me and my ex, and we decided to have a little run over to Edinburgh. And of course, by the time we got there, it was kind of dinner time-ish. So I think we just had something to eat, had a quick look round, and then we went back to where we were staying. So I would like to see it in more, you know, detail because it's a very pretty place. And I believe that the Edinburgh Wool Show is, you know, more where bloggers meet up and things like that. You never know, I might meet somebody who actually recognises me. I had one lady at Woolfest, she tapped me on the shoulder. But I can't remember her name. And she was the only one that got recognised. But I was really surprised that Claire, you know, Bob Wilson 123, didn't get recognised. Hi, Christina. I was really, really surprised. I mean, she makes so many videos, I thought that her face would be really familiar, but you missed me. Why have you missed me? I'm here. It's so hot, my chocolate's melting. I know I shouldn't be eating it, but I'm being naughty. I'm only eating a few bits, not the full bar. Eating a few little bits just satisfies my urge for chocolate. And they are tiny little pieces. That's sticky fingers everywhere. Oh, my fingers are all sticky now. Can't pick up the crochet till I've done something about that. And your wet wipes. Never go anywhere without your wet wipes. Oh, goodness gracious me. I used to always keep a wet flannel in a plastic bag in the car when my son was tiny, because he was always getting his fingers into something or other. They didn't have wet wipes back in the day. Well, this wet wipe's not very wet, actually. I think it's been dried out a bit. So the trouble with wet wipes is once you've opened them up, they soon dry up. Right, I've cooled down a little bit now. Oh, back to the blanket. I have no success with those Japanese. You want to talk to Sue about that. She's the Japanese chart queen. Right, I will, Christina. He's telling you you've gone into review. I don't know why. Oh, the Russian pattern books. They absolutely have got no chance with those. No chance. As I say, Sue, she can go on Pinterest and she can see something absolutely fabulous, and it's in Russian or it's in Japanese, and she goes, oh yeah, I understand that. And she goes, it's all a matter of getting the chart, getting it into your head, what that means and what this means. And I'm thinking, no. I'm all right with when the little bits of charts and they're in a book where it's written by a US person or a UK person, because I can sort of follow those. But when you get people like drops, or you get people that show you, like sort of like a piece of, like a wedge of pizza, and it's supposed to be a circle, and you're thinking, no, that's not making any sense to me. Yeah, Sue just looks at it and she goes, yeah, that's it, that's that, and that's that. And Sue can make sense out of things that go round into shapes, whereas I am more rigid. I can do things that are like into squares or blocks or things like that, but I can't do anything that's a strange shape. Whereas Sue will look at it and she'll go, oh yeah, I can understand that. I mean, she shows me things that she's making and I'm thinking, what on earth is she making now? I can't make head nor tail of it. And then eventually she turns up with this finished item and you're thinking, now I know what she was going on about. Now I know. But I can't see it. Like, her brain works in a different way. But I must confess that my brain isn't as sharp as it used to be, It's it just isn't. Patterns that I used to do without thinking about it, I just can't do it anymore now. Oh, that'd be nice, Christina. Yeah, I like going to see those places. Sue is great. There's only one Sue. There'll never be another one. In the nicest possible way. She's been my buddy for a long time now. She's my crochet buddy. And when she feels better and has the time off, we're going to go to Lolly's little wool shack. Woo! One day. Yeah, my brain isn't as sharp as it used to be. I've got to confess. I mean, I look at patterns and I think, and it's a pattern that I've made before, and yet I'm standing there looking at it like I've never seen it in my life before. That's why I think I use a lot of vintage crochet patterns, because I find them so much easier to understand. I think the modern patterns tell me too much. They go into too much detail, and it just absolutely boggles me. I don't want to know row by row how to do something. I just don't. I want them to say continuing pattern. How did I meet Sue? I met her actually on Ravelry. She was looking for a knit club that she could join, a crochet club that she could join. And she knew that I went to a group called the Knitting-Noras up in Bolton. So she said she felt strange about walking in, to a whole lot of people that she didn't know. So we arranged to meet one Sunday. And then I didn't see her because, of course, the job she does, she had to work a lot of weekends. So she kept saying, I'm going to try and get there. I'm going to try and get there again. So eventually, another day, she managed to get there. And we were having a good chit chat. And she goes, oh, I really miss chatting, everybody crocheting. Well, most of the people who was up at the Knitting-Noras were knitters. So she says, oh, I really miss this, really miss this. So I said to her, well, why don't you come down to my house and we'll have a little knit-nat, on our own, a little crochet chit-chat on our own. And that's how come it all started. It must be about 10 years ago. So that's how come I met Sue. A favourite book of crochet patterns? Well, of course, it has to be Doris Charlie, even though I swore at her when I first started. She isn't the easiest person to understand. And but she is my go-to book, especially the first one. The Everyday Crochet. Oh, we are the best of friends. We're the kind of friends that we don't see each other maybe for a couple of weeks or more, but yet we pick up and take off where we're left off, if you know what I mean. There's never any strain between us. We're never strangers. It's almost like she'd been the day before when she walks in. It's that kind of a relationship we have, yeah. Yeah, I do certain patterns over and over again, but I wouldn't say books so much as I've got lots and lots of crochet magazines that I've made like one thing from. Same with patterns. I do love looking on Etsy. They've got an absolutely fantastic sort of selection of vintage patterns on Etsy. And yeah, I would say Christina is like my best friend of crochet origins, my best friend. My best friend in family is obviously my niece, but and my son, of course. Can't forget my son, can I? But he's not interested in crochet, so it's not the same, is it? My niece doesn't crochet, but she's interested in whatever I'm doing and whatever I'm making, so I do call her like a kind of a crochet friend. And then, of course, I had a lovely friend next door, Julie, but sadly, we lost her at the beginning of this year. Cancer is a terrible thing. Just reading a little message. We've got a friend who's been looking for love in all the wrong places, I might say. And we've all been like saying, no, 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 that's not the right one for you. Anyway, my friend's just sent me a message saying, I think he might have found the right one this time. I do hope so, because he said, he's, let's say, met a lot of frogs lately. What do I enjoy crocheting the most? I have to say clothing, really, clothing. Sweaters, cardigans. And I do like making shawls, but Sue is the queen of the shawls. Yeah. This was ovarian cancer, but it spread all through her body. Misdiagnosis in the beginning, so it could have made a difference. Let's just say, could have made a difference. She was a lovely, lovely lady, absolutely. She wasn't my crochet buddy, but she was my over-the-wall buddy. We used to chat for hours over the fence, I used to look after her dog, as you know. If you look back at my very old videos, you'll see me saying I'm in my holiday home, because I used to go in next door and look after her dog when she was away. And I used to make videos in the conservatory, which was beautiful and light. I used to love sitting in there. I used to call it my holiday home. But sadly, the house is up for sale now, so I'm losing my holiday home. Yes, I'm still working on my blanket. It's getting larger and larger and larger. I think I'm going to be stopping in a bit and doing the edging, because I'm getting a bit bored of going backwards and forwards now. It's a fine yarn, you see, and it's on a 4mm or a G hook, whatever. Why do they call a G hook? Sometimes they call it a 4.25. Yeah, it was very sad. She was a lovely, lovely lady. She didn't deserve that. When you think of all the evil people that are in this world, and they don't seem to get things like cancer, do they? And yet all the lovely people who don't do any harm to anybody, nicest people, they always seem to be the wild ones, yeah. Sometimes life is unfair, very unfair. I can think of a few people I would wish it on. I don't mean normal people in my normal life. I'm talking about criminals and people who've done such horrible, horrible things in their life. You know, when you wish them an evil death, don't you? Instead of keep using the taxpayers' money to keep them in prison, where they have how many channels to watch on TV, and they get their meals done for them and everything. Yeah, my mum used to say that only the good die young. But though my mum was a lovely person, and she was about 90 when she passed away. No, it's not totally true. Absolutely not. No. I've known some very good people who've lived to about 100, so I just wish there was some fairness in the world where, the people who do evil tricks, evil things like the paedophiles and that, why don't they get all these horrible diseases? I think they should test things on them. But then, of course, it's against human rights. You can't say that. You can't do that. I think they have too many flipping rights. That's the trouble. They have more rights than we do outside. But then that's being controversial, isn't it? There's always these do-gooders outside who think they're going to repent like heck. Let them loose for 5 minutes, and what do? Murder somebody else? I mean, there's always the exception to the rule, isn't there? But I'd like to know what the percentage of people who offend go out and offend again. Yeah. I'm afraid I'm all in favour of a quicker justice. Why should we keep paying for them to sit in prison for years? But of course, you get shouted down by all these people who say, they may not have done it, they may have been innocent, and then you've sentenced them to death. And what if it's proved that it's not them? And I'm thinking, yeah, how many times has it proved it's not them? Not an awful lot. And as for paedophiles, they'd be going out less less a part of their anatomy. If they were anything to do with me, they'd be peeing out of a straw before they ever came out. I don't believe in chemical castration because they can just not take their pills. Chop them off at the hilt. I was reading in the paper the other day, I don't know where it was, but this wife set her husband on fire because she caught him abusing her child, well, you know, the children, one of her children. So she set him on fire. And I'm thinking, good girl. But she's probably the one who gets put away, not him. Yeah, people on death row are keeping them forever, aren't we? Yeah, I mean, they get it too cushy. I mean, at one time when they were in jail, they were in horrible cells, weren't they? They didn't have a TV, they didn't have anything. Oh, hi, Mimi. Now they have it pretty cushy. They keep trying to educate them and send them to school, don't they? Oh, dear. All that we're all paying for. I don't know about in the US, but in the UK. Yeah, she should have put a bullet in his head. Never mind about setting him on fire. Oh, she lit his trousers near his willy. I've been missing mostly for 2 weeks. Yeah, sometimes they do, Jane, I can agree, but not very often. Especially the ones convicted of paedophiles and things like that. I'm not in favour of that at all. I don't know where it's all come from. The internet makes it so much easier for people of like minds to cluster together. They go on the deep web. Yeah, DNA matching is solving a lot of old crimes, isn't it? He's probably got put in prison for a number of years. He won't get the death penalty. They don't issue it here. We don't have a death penalty here anymore. They abolished it donkeys years ago. I'm all in favour of it for certain crimes. Don't know so much about the hanging, but the lethal injection. Yeah, I'm all for that. I mean, look how long we paid to have Ian Brady and Myra Hindley in prison. Must have cost us billions. Should have put them on bread and water and left them in a cell on their own to rot. Yeah, the UK doesn't anymore. No matter what they do, they don't get the death penalty. And life doesn't even mean life over here anymore. They let them out. Oh, that's terrible. Touchdown, yeah. It's awful when nobody gets charged. Yeah, exactly. Why do they have to sit on death row for 20 years? I mean, there's not many people are found innocent after 20 years, is there? I mean, I think don't have the death penalty. There's such a thing as life meaning life. Over here, life means so many years. It doesn't mean life. And I'm sorry, but I thought life was life. Anybody who molests a child, oh, no patience with them. No patience at all. I mean, I was molested by a family member when I was 7. Not rape, but molestation. And that was awful because nobody believed me. My mum said I was a little liar and I was making up stories. So what do you do? That was years back. It wasn't once either. He did it several times. I mean, I was only 7, so I didn't know much difference. And then he would always be the one who gave me lots of sweets and things, which my parents were quite strict about. He was always the one who treated me to car rides. We didn't have a car, you know. So I really didn't understand him at first. It's only later that I sort of realised what he was doing. And then after that, I just avoided him. But it was a fact when I plucked up enough courage to tell my mother what was happening, she just called me a little liar and told me not to spread such ugly rumours about my uncle. Yeah. Yeah. When I say my uncle, it wasn't my blood uncle, it was my uncle by marriage. Just to make sure you don't think it was anybody in my family. Hi, Deborah. Yeah. I mean, I can sort of forget it, and it just comes up in the back of my mind every now and again. You know, it just, yeah, children didn't get believed back in my day, unless they actually saw somebody like waving the bits, you know, around. I mean, we used to think that was hilarious. Yeah. When you get some nutter at the school gates, you know, like waving the whatnot through the railings. We all thought it was pretty hilarious. Oh, excuse me. You know, oh, don't go near him. He's just a dirty old man, you know. How are we dealing with Muslims? We're dealing very well with Muslims, thank you. Why are you saying things like that, Vicky? Why would you bring up a thing like that on a crocheting channel? I have no problem with people. People are people. I have no problem with white, black, yellow, green, whatever. As long as they're okay with me, I'm okay with them. I have no problems at all. I don't understand people who come into a crocheting channel and say, how are you dealing with Muslims? What? What's that got to do with being a crocheter? Oh, I accept everybody in here. I have no preferences. Everybody comes in if they're welcome and they behave themselves. I thought maybe she was asking, telling me they were a problem or something. Your dinner's here, right, Mimi? Enjoy your dinner, love. Yeah, exactly. What a strange question to ask. I deal with everybody the same. Well, I like to think I do. Obviously, if they're horrible people, no matter what race they are. Do I have a favourite YouTuber for crochet? It depends whether it's tutorials or... I am very down to earth, who knows? I've got no preferences. I've got no anything. I like people for who they are. It doesn't matter what race, what religion they come from, as long as they're nice people. Obviously, if they're not nice people, I don't like them because they're not nice people, but not because they're A, B, or C. Yeah. Favorite YouTuber for crochet? It depends what I'm looking for. For tutorials and that, I like Bob Wilson 123. You stay away from the bad ones. Well, I stay away from bad people, whoever they are. Yeah. I don't call one race, religion, creed, whatever. I don't call them the bad ones. There's bad ones in every nationality, unfortunately, and sadly. Sadly, there's there's as many drug dealers of any nationality. You can't just say, oh, one lot of people are bad because they go dealing drugs. Everybody deals in drugs, no matter what flipping colour or race, religion they are. Yeah, I am. Everybody's buddy. I am. Unless you're an idiot, yeah. I'm the only idiot on here. Nobody else is allowed to be an idiot, only me. We like a happy channel, don't we, people? Yes. I like peace and light on a Saturday night, where everybody gets along and everybody chats to each other and it's all peaceable and everybody's nice to each other. That's what I had in mind when I started doing this. I'm doing the border now, yes. I'm just going around with the single crochet at the moment. Just all the way around it, first of all, before I decide what kind of border I'm going to do on the end. I'm just thinking at the moment. Thinking, which is hard for me at this time of night. Thinking is not my best skill. Yeah. Now, I like to think that everybody that comes on here on a Saturday night is friends with each other, and we don't stand for any sort of nastiness, bitterness, backbiting, whatever. We're all here because we want to be happy. It is. Life is much too short to be revengeful. I don't see any point in it. Obviously there's good and bad in everybody. You can't say, oh, one race is better than another race just because of this, that, and the other. It's not true. There's good people in every race, and there's bad people in every race. Oh, Karen's got a boyfriend. That's where she is. She's fine as far as I know, yeah. If you go on Facebook, you'll still see she's on there. She's in love. You know what it's like when you're in love. Yeah, I like Hooked by Happenstance, yeah. Yeah, I like her. She's very down to earth, isn't she, Kendra? And I like her videos because they're lovely and they're snappy and they're short. And she lets you really into her life, Yeah, smaller projects are probably better to start with. Yeah, she is. I mean, she really keeps it real, doesn't she, Kendra? She just tells it like it is, you know. She lets you know the kind of struggles that she has with things, and you know, and I like when she's doing her cooking and when she's canning her veggies um, out the garden. You know, I just admire people who can live that sort of homesteady kind of life, you know, where they grow beautiful natural produce and then she cans it, so she's got fresh veggies for all over the winter time. And yeah, Karen's had ups and downs in her life. I'm sure she won't mind me saying that. But hopefully she has found a good one this time. So we'll all keep our fingers crossed for her. I'm not so keen on yarn hauls from different countries because it just makes me, because I can't get them over here. I don't mind the going around the shops bits, you know, when people show me around and show me inside of Joann's and things like that. But I can't sit through yarn hauls where people just keep holding things up. I mean, I know I do it, but I don't do it on a massive scale. I rarely get big hauls. The last time I did a big haul was because I hadn't seen Sue for about 3 weeks, so I did have things to show her. But I've been very bad recently at watching videos. I'm so behind with everyone's videos. Oh, are you going, Emma? Good night, love. Hope you've enjoyed yourself. If I look at them and they're like over an hour, and I'm like watching them before I go to bed, and I think, oh, no, I can't face an hour and 20 minutes, you know. I'm more like if they're under about 50 minutes, 40 minutes, yeah, they're my girls, yeah, I'll watch them. But as soon as they start going over the hour, I start drifting off. I start losing interest. I try to keep my videos around about 45 minutes. Purely because, well, apart from this, of course, but this is different. I'm sort of interacting. What was my supper? I didn't have any supper. I've not had any supper apart from about, 8 to 10 blocks of little chocolate. My supper was actually a salad with 2 slices of roast beef. So it was a nice green salad. I tend to do that with some people. I mean, Lisa doesn't make any videos at the moment, Lisa Pine Notes. But I used to find her so slow. She was a lovely lady, but hello, you know, I think, oh, I can't be doing with this. So I had to speed her up, I'm afraid. Hi, Amanda. But I do skip through a lot of people's videos. Without naming names, some people are very samey. You know, everything's the same. Right, okay, Emma. Enjoy your chat. I don't do diets very well, who knows? I try to eat healthier. That's all I'm going to say. I've given up with diets because I really don't do them and I don't do very well. If people say this is a diet, then I don't do it. I'm just an absolute head in the sand kind of person. You know, if I have to follow a strict diet of some sort, leave this out, leave that out, leave the other out, nope. I'm just in the process of cutting down things that I know are bad for me and trying to eat more things like the salads and fresh veggies and things like that. That's why I admire sort of like Kendra with a veggie garden outside, and you know, she brings all this fresh stuff in, and the thing is, she doesn't waste it. She bottles it, pickles it, does whatever she does with it, you know. So everything gets used, you know. It's not like she wastes stuff. I'm a rebel. I really am a rebel. You're right. Yeah, my son used to have that hanging on his wall. Diet is die with a T. I don't have much sugar, but of course there is sugar in lots of things I eat. It's like when I went on that course, for diabetes. It's amazing what has got sugar in it and what is bad for you when you're diabetic. It's it opened my eyes, honestly. I just thought, oh, what is the point of life? I mean, I blame all this modern fast food stuff. When we all ate good old-fashioned food that our mothers used to prepare from all fresh vegetables, there was never any of this massive obesity. Yeah, I go on that one as well. Yeah, I'm type 2 diabetic. So I do try to. Yeah, the mass-produced food, it's pumped full of all sorts of crap. Sorry for using that word, but it is. When I was little, I used to eat like a little horse, and of course, it was all good stuff. So, I just, everything we eat today is over-processed. It's pumped full of all sorts of stuff. It's got preservatives in it. It's got, even the chicken that you buy, unless you get a free-range one, you don't know what the heck they've pumped into it to make it look plump. I love bacon, but the water that comes out of bacon when you try to grill it, it's just, oh. Right, you've got a perfect joke for us, have you? Right, Christina, go on then. Oh, excuse me, yawning. It's only 11 o'clock as well. I'm not doing very well tonight. It's probably my chocolate that made me go sleepy. I find that chocolate makes me go to sleep. I don't know why it does. It's probably the sugar rush. When I think about it, I must have been diabetic for ages, because I used to say to my GP that when I ate chocolate, I would go to sleep. And he used to laugh at me and say, I don't know why that is. Hi, Yvonne. What did they call organic food in the 50s? Probably normal. Hi, Elaine. What I'm working on is a baby blanket. Yeah, exactly. They called it food. Yeah. I mean, there wasn't. I think the only processed food that we ever ate was kind of like tinned things. But I mean, there was no freezers. There was no fish fingers and beef burgers and stuff like that when I was a kid. I never knew what a beef burger was until they opened up a Wimpy Bar, which is the forerunner of like a McDonald's. Yeah? And even then, it was only on a very special occasion. It is, Christina, it is absolutely what's killing us. They put it in to make us want it more because it tastes good. Oh, have you got two ladies expecting babies? This is for my great grandson to be. I honestly think that's probably why we oldies are living longer, because our generation ate more natural produce. And when you think everything was on ration, so we weren't allowed sugar much in those days. So we didn't eat sweets. We didn't eat, all the sort of junk that the kids today eat. We never ate that because it was all on a ration. You only got a very limited amount of sugar, each week. And anything like chocolate and sweeties was on a ration. You know, so, but to go back to that sort of eating now, it means trying to buy organic, which is expensive. Yeah, everybody cooked. There was no such thing. Yeah, chocolate you didn't get. I can remember we got a Mars bar one time. And I mean, they were bigger in those days. I must admit, they were bigger than they are now. And Mum used to cut it up into pieces because we all had to share it. And when you think the children today running around with great big bags of sweets in their hands and things like that, we didn't get anything like that. It wasn't because our parents were mean, it's just because they weren't available. I mean, I was luckier than most in the fact that my aunts, who lived like just up the street from me, they didn't eat sweets and that, so they used to save up their chocolate rations and sweet rations, and then they used to share it out between us, the children. You know, there was obviously more than just me as a child of the family. I had cousins as well. So we used to get it shared out between us. So we did get more than our normal sweet allowance, you know. But, you know, it was a great treat getting sweeties and things. Yeah, I can remember getting chocolate smokers outfits at Christmas. Well, the tobacco was like coconut shreds and stuff like that, and it was in a pouch. And the toffee cigarettes had little pink ends on that were meant to be like lit cigarettes. And he had a chocolate pipe and things like that. It was, I mean, it was obviously not like it is now, where they weren't encouraging us to smoke. It was just that everybody smoked. Back in the day, we didn't know the dangers. But funny enough, my dad and mum never smoked. Maybe because they couldn't afford it. I don't know, because we didn't have a lot of money. When I was really small, we were quite poor. But it's funny, you know, I was thinking about that when we might have been poor, but we always had shoes, clothes, food. Probably because my mum and dad didn't spend it on anything else. They didn't spend it on themselves. They didn't spend it on going to the pub or anything like that. I've never been a smoker now. Never. Never wanted to be, actually, to be quite honest. I used to be persuaded into trying a cigarette when I was a teenager. Like, you want to be one of the crowd, don't you? But I was a lousy smoker. I used to just cough my lungs up, and tears used to flood down my eyes. And oh God, I can remember when I was bringing up my child, how many people used to have a cigarette in their hand while they fed the baby a bottle. I thought that was pretty disgusting even back then. Where did my family get yarn from? We bought it. There was a lot more yarn in Yorkshire back in the day. Not a lot of the yarn was imported. It was, I suppose they imported the raw wool, maybe. I don't know. But it was spun and wound into balls in Yorkshire. We used to get it from Sirdar and Hayfield, Twillies, Emu, Jaeger, Peyton's, lots of places like that. We used to get it direct from the spinners. We didn't go through warehouses and things like that. You used to buy it direct from the spinners. But I don't know that there's many of them left now. I think Sirdar's still left, but I don't think they use much. I don't think they spin much or ball up much. I think they import a lot of their yarn from Turkey now, like everybody else. No, my family didn't spin yarn. They used to spin cotton in my grandma's generation and my auntie's generation. they worked in the cotton mills and they would spin and weave cotton, and but not my favourite yarn. Oh right, see you, Shirley. My favourite yarn is probably cotton or a cotton mix. I like working with cotton. But having said that, there's nothing wrong with a good quality acrylics, nothing wrong with it at all. Don't forget that the English acrylic is not like a lot of your acrylics in the US. It's, with some of them, actually, I would defy anybody to know that it was acrylic, you know. If you blindfolded somebody and said, here, what's this? They wouldn't know it was acrylic. That's what makes me smile about the yarn snobs. No, I wouldn't touch acrylic, I wouldn't do this, that, and the other. If you were blindfolded, you wouldn't even know. Yeah, I love cotton, and I like bamboo and things like that, you know, the natural. I mean, I would like wool, but I can't wear it, so I don't like wearing crocheting with it because it gives me a rash on my hands. You know, all between my fingers, I get eczema when I actually crochet with wool. So my not buying wool kind of thing is nothing to do with being a snob or anything. It's just I can't use it. And the hand-dyed yarns, hello, welcome to the crochet channel, Kansa. Hand-dyed yarn plays havoc with my hands. I don't know whether the dye's still in it or what, but it really makes my hands sore. I had to crochet somebody a shawl with hand-dyed yarn, well, wool it was, and I finished up having to wear gloves because all my fingers broke out in eczema. I'm so allergic to it. But for baby wearing that, you can't beat a cotton or an acrylic. I don't like babies in wool. Yeah, the Unforgettable. I absolutely adore the Unforgettable, but it is like you say, what do you use with it? The chat keeps going off. Well, you shouldn't have eaten all the best ones first, then. No, I've never done that. You know, that control pooling, whatever they call it. It sounds a little bit too complex for my brain. You know, where you have to sort of work it out what it is, and you have to do this. And I mean, I work with, obviously, with the yarns that are the cake yarn and things like that. Oh, excuse me. I don't mean to yarn at you. It's very rude, isn't it? I can hear my mother in my ear saying, cover your mouth. That's so rude. Cover your mouth. It's funny, you know, the things your mums tell you, and it stays, doesn't it? Yes, I am from England, yes. I'm from Manchester, if you know where Manchester is. Up in the north of England. Are you a crocheter? Do I have any life advice? Don't do what I did. That's the only thing I have any life advice about. Don't follow in my footsteps. I should have done a lot better with my life than I did, so I'm a poor one to give you any life advice. I'm the last one. No, you would ask. Oh, you're going to be at Manchester? I believe it's a really nice university. Not that I've been, but I believe it's a very good university. You're very lucky if you've got in there. It's harder to get in Manchester than it is to get in a lot of other places. Medicinal chemistry. What's that to do with, like, devising drugs or whatever? Is it like a research thing? Manchester University is a very good university. Yeah. That's very good. Drugs for cancer. If you do follow crochet and knitting, you need to follow Cody. What's he called on YouTube? Cody Knits, is he called? Yeah. You're 10 years. That's very good if you can speak a little bit of English. All right, who knows? You're going to Hobby Lobby and leaving us before they close, are you? Right, okay. I don't know, touchdown. It's too intense, all this colour pooling for me. I watched a video once and thought, too complex, not for me at all. It looks a bit too brainy for me. I know chemistry's everywhere. I was an absolute rubbish at chemistry when I was at school. I just never got into it at all. It's a bit of both, really, Cancer. I'm retired, so it's kind of like a little bit of extra money if I sell anything, but it's not a business. I don't devote enough time. Yeah, hola. I know that bit, yeah. That's about the only Spanish I know. I'm not very good. We never did Spanish at school. Hello, Renan. No, I don't know whether anybody else on here speaks Spanish. Anybody? Hola, yeah. That's about all I know. My son lived in Spain for 4 years, and I don't think he understood any Spanish while he was there. I don't know how he managed, but he seemed to. I think he was in a place where they mostly spoke English anyway. My daughter-in-law did try. She went to Spanish lessons, but I don't know whether she got any further. If I lived in Spain, I would have to try and learn the language. Oh, excuse me. The only language I learned is a bit of French, but it's so long ago. My crochet, I'm making a baby blanket at the moment. That's my crochet behind me. Do I have any other hobbies? No, not now. When I was younger and I didn't have spinal problems, I used to like to do belly dancing. Not ballet, belly dancing. London has a completely different accent to my accent, yeah. I'm a northern girl, yeah. London is in the south. Your mum is very fond of crochet. Good girl, mummy. It's what we like to see, more people crochet. Crochet makes the world go round. Has anybody else read the books by Betty Hechtman? She writes like about a crochet club called the Tarzanias or something. And they have all these books that are about mysteries and crocheting as well. I've been reading them. I think they're lovely. I am using up, this is a craft room yarn. It's yarn that was in my craft room. Sue, no, she doesn't have a Scottish accent. She comes from, where does she come from? Burnley, maybe? She lives in Darwin at the moment. So she's got a different accent to me. Yeah, I have been using quite a lot of my craft room yarn. The white top that I've just, if you watch my video, that I'm mostly crocheted, that's out of my stash rooms craft. And this, you're a little bit tired, yeah. What may be interested in live streams, being too lazy to keep typing, may be interested in doing a live stream, because when I'm on someone else's live stream, I have to do the typing. And I found out that I couldn't crochet and type at the same time. So being a lazy person, I decided that the best way was to actually do my own live streams. And then I can carry on with my crochet while I'm chatting to people. So that's the reason why I'm interested in it. So that's the only reason. At least I'm honest, aren't I? No, if you listen to Sue's accent, she's Lancashire like I am, but she's got I think, a bit broader accent. But if I say anything to her, she says, "What accent? I don't have an accent." It's like when we talk to Zoe, she goes, "I don't have a London accent. I don't have a Southern accent." And we go, "Yeah, you do." And she goes, "No, I don't. No, I don't have an accent at all." I was actually surprised when I met Bob Wilson 123. I thought she'd have more of an Australian accent than she does. But, I mean, she does have the twang, of course, yeah. But I thought she'd be really Aussie, but she's not. Oh, hello, the chat's frozen again. I hope I'm still around. My name is Jan. It's short for Janet, but I don't use the Janet very often. It's usually just Jan. So you're at Adrian, are you? It was my grandma's name. I got called after two grandmothers. I got called Janet after one grandma and Elizabeth after the other grandma. My mother didn't want to call me Elizabeth because she thought I would get called Lizzie or Eliza, so she didn't like either of them, so she called me Janet instead. But I don't go by it, I never use it. I started not using my full name when I lived in an area where they just couldn't pronounce my name. And they used to call me Janet. So I spent half of my life correcting people on how to actually say it. And then I got fed up with it, so I just said, right, just call me Jan. And that's just what it stuck. I mean, now I think I would like to be back to Janet again, but everybody knows me as Jan now. Oh, good for you, Renan. We have lots of guys on here who know how to crochet. Yeah. You have to go, right, Adrian? Okay, nice talking to you. Bye-bye. I mean, crochet is a skill that isn't just for ladies, because the fishermen used to use crochet to mend their nets, you know. I would like to sort of hazard a guess that maybe men did it before women did, but I'm sure I'd get corrected by that. But how long have fishermen been around mending their nets? I don't think it was a sort of a crochet, it was more of a macrame, wasn't it, when they did their nets. Did I tell you that Sue's been experimenting with macrame? That she's actually managed to fashion some sort of a kind of, you know, hanging thing for plants, plant pots and stuff. She's ordered some new yarn. I think she's ordered it from Lolly's little yarn shack, little wool shack, sorry. I think she's ordered it from there, but of course I haven't seen her since, so. He's got a long way to catch up with me with my age, hasn't he? If he's only 13. That's round about the age I think I started to crochet, actually. I was knitting from the age of about 5, but crochet. My mum wasn't a crocheter. She can crochet, but she doesn't know what everything's called. She didn't know what you know, she used to call things a short stitch and a long stitch, which I then found out, you know, that's oh, the Peruvian hats are gorgeous, aren't they? Their work's very colourful. I love those hats. There used to be a shop in Bury that used to sell, you know, knitted and crocheted things from the third world and things like that. And they had some lovely hats, you know, the ones with the ear flaps on and the strings coming down. And they were from Peru, I think. Yeah, men used to do it. I mean, a friend of mine, her dad was in the Navy, and he said there was a guy in the Navy who used to sit on his bunk and knit most fabulous, you know, baby shawls, and he was always in demand because people were always having babies, yeah. And as soon as he finished one, he would be starting another one. Yeah, the chola hats, yeah. I love anything that's absolutely colourful, I really do. That's why I like a lot of the vintage style crochet, you know, the granny. Oh dear, sorry about that, Renan. Hope it's back together now. Um, you know, the 60s style when, you know, things were very vibrant and very colourful. I mean, I know I mentioned Jen Cherry quite a lot on here. That's XERRI, not cherry as in cherry on a tree. She does some fantastic sort of granny square and brightly coloured things. And I really love her style of crochet. But I know that I couldn't sell it because she does the festival scene with her craft shows and that. So that's why she gets a good sales on her things. That's the sort of thing I love. I mean, I just bought a lovely dress that's very sort of Stevie Nicks-y, you know. I love anything like that. I've got big flouncy underskirts and some really lovely dresses and skirts that are all like patchwork, and but it's been a bit hot to wear them at the moment. But I would love to dress like that all the time. But I just don't quite have the nerve to go out in one of those big hats, you know, with the. Yeah, I feel much better. I cannot wear anything that is drab. You know, if I wear a colour that's sort of beigey or brown, I really cannot feel good in it. I had a lovely dusty pink top, like a dark pink top, and everybody kept saying it was such a lovely top. And I used to feel so miserable when I was wearing it. It really dragged me down. It just wasn't enough colour in it for me. I tried jazzing it up, you know, with, yeah. I wear a lot of black. I do wear a lot of black, but I usually wear it with, you know, chunky beads or something like that to jazz it up. Like me wearing black with this, you know. But my trousers are black with massive big pink roses on. So they don't exactly go with the top. But, you know, you can only see the top of me anyway, can't you? Hello, Lydia. Hello, peeps. Right, I've gone all the way around my blanket now with single crochet. Now is the time to decide what kind of a border I'm going to put on it. I don't want it to be too fancy because it's a boy. But then again, I don't want it to be too plain. You've been to Joanne. How dare you come back? Tell us you've been there. I hope you haven't broken the bank. She's just tantalising us, telling us she's been to Joanne's, isn't she? You're terrible. You're such a tormentor. Right. You went batshit. Oh, goodness. I find what I'm crocheting actually affects my mood. When I'm making something like this blanket at the back of me there, not blanket, shawl at the back of me. How I crochet? Well, actually, at the minute I'm only doing a border, so you can't really see how I crochet. I'm just trying to decide what kind of a border to put around it. I don't want anything too fancy. Where's the boy, as I said before? But I do need some kind of a border. Oh, excuse me. And I'm undecided. Oh gosh, my chat line keeps going off. Yeah, I love the colours as well. That's why I wouldn't put it up for sale. I have managed to get some more yarn. The good news is, so I can put one up for sale on my Etsy, but just not this one. This one's mine. It might be very similar to this one, but this one is mine. I usually go mad when I'm ordering online, you know, if it's a special offer or there's lots of... because I have to order enough so I don't have to pay postage because I'm tight like that. I should not be drinking the end of the energy drink at this time of night, but it's the end of what I was... When you watch my video, you'll see that I started it when I was making my other video. Not this video, the other video. That's up for. Oh, I still don't know what I'm going to do now for this edging. Maybe I'll just do a lattice. Oh, God, it's gone off again. My chat screen keeps going off. J, I don't know. I've not seen that one. Your shirts are all crochet, are they, as well? Is that from your mum? Did your mum make them for you? You should be proud of your mum making you things. Makes you an individual, not like anybody who has to go in the store and buy everything. You can be unique. Ah, Jada in Stitches. Yes, I know who you mean now. I couldn't think of Jay then. I am so behind with everybody's videos. It's untrue. I think if I spent fortnight just watching videos end to end. I don't think I would catch up now. I'm so far behind. So I'm having to just pick, you know, and pick a mix kind of thing, which ones I'm watching now. Yeah, yeah. Oh, stop it. Oh, stop it. I'm just started yawning. I don't know whether it's the sugar in this energy drink, but it's knocking me to sleep, so now we're reviving me. I think that is too tight. I think I should put a... The chat's gone off again. Yeah, bobbles, you have to be careful, because if you don't get them quite right, you start decreasing. It took me ages before I found an actual YouTuber, and I thought, and it really explained the bobble to me. And since then, I've been fine. Some videos don't quite explain what you do when you, or where you put your hook in the next row after your bobbles. That's where I was going wrong. Which part of the stitch did I go into on the row after my bobble row? My bobble row was fine. It was after the row after I kept losing stitches. Oh, for goodness sake, this chat's gone off again. Yeah, there's a lot of people whose tutorials I watch, but I kind of... have you tried using a smaller hook? That's what I used to do. I'm not a lover of bobbles, to be quite truthful. They don't always come out right, and sometimes my bobbles float onto the other side of the wrong side of the crochet. Sue and I are determined this year, not much left of it, is there, that we will perfect our Tunisian. We can both actually do it, but I have tension problems. I can't get my tension correct. If I get my tension right widthwise, it's wrong lengthwise. So that's my problem. Once I get it nice and loose enough, it's too wide. You know, if I'm using a pattern, say for a baby's sweater or something, by the time I've cast on or chained on the number of stitches I'm supposed to chain on, it's way too wide. Because if I do it on the hook they tell me to, it's too tight. She's doing a pineapple dot. Oh, thank you, Christina. Does your mum crochet a lot of mats or the fine cotton, Ronan? Renan, sorry, not Ronan. Changing his name. Got us into so much trouble last week, I think, with some young man because I couldn't pronounce his name right. He got quite cross with me at the end. I kept calling him Yannick, and he was called Jan Nick or something. This chat is... the chat keeps going off. Off. I used to crochet really loose, but I've got a lot tighter. I always had to reach for a smaller hook than the pattern said before I even attempted to do any tension squares. But now, you know, I'm finding it the other way. Some of my things are coming out really tight. I'm much smaller than other people. This is getting beyond a joke. Every time I look down, the chat goes up. Alex Crochet, I don't think I've tried her. I don't think I've seen her. Alex Crochet. That's strange, that, because I usually see most people's. I like some of the designs that another lady does, but she speaks mostly in Spanish. But she has started doing some English videos now. I tried the wool-eater blanket. It's just really gobbles up the wool. It's just, you know, it would be so heavy because it takes so much wool to do each stitch. I got fed up with it because it was taking me ages to do it. And what's a sousplat? I'm not sure what you mean by a sousplat. It's very, very pretty, the Bavarian crochet or the wool eater. Very, very pretty indeed, but I just don't have the patience with it. It's not called a wool eater for nothing. You do a row like and you've lost half your ball. There's one thing I've never tried and don't want to, and that's hairpin crochet. I just really don't like the look of it at all. All those spidery loops. The last book I bought of Doris Chan's had. No, I've never made a corner to corner. That's my crochet and I'm doing at the minute. The crochet I've finished is behind me. Just doing a baby blanket. My arthritic fingers are hurting. They've been fine up to now, but now they're seizing up, so I may have to put my little glove on. I don't like putting these on because they make everything slide about. I'm not sure if these are the right size because I don't think they're tight enough. But this pattern, it isn't a pattern, it's just a stitch. I just like doing the shell stitch, and that's, I decided to put it on here. It's one of my go-to stitches when I'm not in the mood for anything fancy. I feel like old lady stockings. I'm sure they're too slack. I think they should fit tight. The gloves, they're just pressure gloves. You find them on eBay. But like I say, I think I bought the wrong size with these. I think I bought them too big. They're supposed to fit quite tightly. But they do help. It's this finger's got arthritis in it. I've got a blue pair somewhere that fit much tighter, but they're in that safe place and I haven't found them yet. I will find them, no doubt. I wear my other thing as well, but it doesn't actually. The blue ones, I think they did. These beige ones don't because they're too big. Yeah, I'll put this one on as well. This one helps my wrist, but it doesn't help my finger. It's this finger. I got it trapped in a taxi door about a couple of years ago, and arthritis is kind of set in on it now, so it's sore when I've been doing anything. Oh my goodness me. I believe it's a big thing though, that Stitches West. I mean, obviously I've never been, but I have seen other people's, videos that have been. I actually wear, it's in the other room, one of those surgical bandages, those like tubular bandages. Yeah, it was a sliding door on a taxi, and he was pushing it too to shut it. And I had my finger in the door. And I was like, oh, my finger. It didn't break the knuckle or anything, but it's the injury's like at the knuckle, if you know what I'm saying. But, I mean, it didn't break it, but when I do a bit of crocheting too much, it goes sore. What pattern do you mean, Lydia? Oh, the pillow pattern. I see you've got predictive text, have you? A powdered pillow. I had to turn mine off. No, I haven't seen the temperature Afghan because I don't make Afghans anyway. But unfortunately, our temperature in the UK, apart from this year, is normally pretty sort of bland. So mine would be very, very colourless because it would be all the same colour. Rows upon rows of rain, rain, rain. I wouldn't get to the coloured bit. I'd have a few rows of like the hot colours, like reds and oranges. Apart from this year would be quite a lot of reds. Yeah. Yeah, bobbles do eat the yarn, you're right. It's all the yarn overs, isn't it? Have you seen the video that's floating about that young lady that crochets with her teeth because she hasn't got any arms? She makes little stuffies or plushies or whatever you want to call them. But I was thinking, I thought she must have somebody else to sew them up or stuff them for her because, how could she do that with no arms? Well, there's another lady in the Philippines, she must be about 80 something. And she crochets with this sort of horrible rough twine stuff. She makes water bottle covers and things like that. But she has to move around because, she's not got a hawker's license or whatever. Because I asked, Rosita if she could ever sell on the street. And she said, oh, hi, Craft Angel. And she said, no, you have to get one of these like hawker's license and it costs a fortune. And there's hardly any stalls because people fight over the stalls, to sell. So she couldn't get one. Well, better late than never, isn't it, Craft Angel? I'm still here yet. I keep yawning, but I'm still here. Yeah, this lady in the Philippines, she won't accept any money from her family. She just crochets, for what bit of money she can get. She's very proud. She said her family have got enough raising their own children, but to have to look after her as well, which I thought is very noble of her. But then I don't know how bad it is really in the Philippines. I know they're very poor. I mean, Rose does her best. Oh, autocorrect. I turned autocorrect off my phone. It was giving me, I mean, I know I talk a lot of rubbish sometimes, but the autocorrect was, couldn't make any sense out of a sentence. I mean, the autocorrect on my other phone was fine. It was great. But this new phone, oh, you know, it kept changing everything. And, oh, so you go back and try to correct it, and then you type another few words, and it's took it back to what it was. Oh. I was trying to type something really, really simple, and it was telling me all kinds of stuff, all kinds of words I wasn't saying yet. Ooh. Do you ever get like a sharp sensation in your leg, like something's just bitten you, and you know there's nothing there? You got to go to sleep now, Renan. Well, thank you very much for keeping us company. I know sometimes you wonder what is your phone thinking about? You know, the word it tells you with the autocorrect is absolutely nothing like what you're trying to say. I mean, I didn't mind autocorrect when it corrected your spelling mistakes. That's not too bad. But when it changes the word into something stupid. Bye-bye, Renan. Enjoy your sleep. Nice to have your company. I don't know whether I like what I'm doing here. You know, when you're doing an edging and you're like, I don't think this is quite right. It's not looking right at all. No, I don't like it. It's got to come back. Oh, hi, Christine. You missed me this week. You have not been on. I wasn't on for a couple of weeks, really. I've just not been in the mood. I've been too hot, too sleepy. Every time I sat down, I fell asleep, so I'd got nothing to show you. I was just so sleepy. All I've done tonight is yawn on. Oh, I took it back because it was working on this side, but when I got to the sides, it wasn't working right. So it's got to come back. The sides were, if I spaced it every other, they were stretched out too much. And if I spaced it into every one, it was too much. So it just wasn't working. If you get me meaning. So it's had to come back. Oh, bye, Renan. Enjoy your sleep. I hope I go to sleep tonight as well. I'm getting fed up with this. Watching the clock go around. Yeah, a lot of our stores have got that where you have to put £1 in to get your trolley. It's to stop people leaving them floating all around the car park. Makes you bring them back. Yeah, the stitch count was different on because when I started it off, I was doing it on the rows, and then I was doing it on the edges, and that's when it went pear-shaped. So I've got to change and do something different. Hi, Marsha. How are you doing? Right, I'm doing a row of trebles, double crochets if you're in the States. I will never stop calling it a treble. I will never, ever, as long as I live. I will always crochet in UK terms. I even translate patterns into UK terms because I get mixed up with trebles in the UK, in the US. I haven't. I did look at a couple one weekend when they were free, but I didn't buy any. The only one I bought was one by what's she called, King or something. She's Australian. She did the all squared, and I bought this tutorial, and luckily I printed off the patterns, but I can't find the tutorial anywhere. So I wrote and I explained that I'd bought it. I said I had the receipt for it, which I did, and I've asked her 3 times and she's never even answered me. So Jenny King, that was it. So I thought, oh right, that's your after sales service, is it? Not very nice of you. You could have at least written back and said, no, I can't do that or something. But she didn't even reply, which I thought was rather rude. So I've never actually paid. I usually find I can find what I need on YouTube for free. The one thing I did watch while it was all free was that how to make a model of yourself, you know, using duct tape and stuff. I did watch that video. It was rather hilarious. But very useful if you can't afford to get yourself a model, you know, a mannequin. What else did I watch? Oh, I watched another one that was about freestyle crochet, but I watched it all the way through and I wasn't any wiser at the end of it. You have to have a brain that just goes round this way and that way. And she's saying, oh, just make this piece and then turn it around to make it fit, and then you do these things like that. And I just couldn't follow. So I'm glad I never bought that one. Yeah, I wonder what we did without YouTube. How did I manage to learn to crochet without YouTube? I must admit, I always say I am never too old to learn. I found out quite a lot of things on YouTube that even with my years and years of experience, I didn't know. So, you know, I always say there's always something that you can learn. You know, you never know it all. I don't care how long you've been crocheting. You can never know it all. You know, if it's only a little hack, like, you know, how to do this and how to do that, and you think, that is so obvious. Why did I never think of that before? And yeah, I find something every day near enough on YouTube that I haven't got a clue about before. So I will never say that I can't learn anything off YouTube. I think it's a wonderful resource. Wish they did more videos on like how to fix this or how to fix that. You know, when I'm struggling with something and I think, wish there was a YouTube video telling me what to do. I need to start watching the YouTube videos again for the knitting machine. I've got all my books when I find them. They're all in that safe place, ladies. So I want to try again with my knitting machine. I don't mean to leave crochet. I mean just to add another string to my bow. Because I've got 2 beautiful knitting machines there doing nothing. And I would like to... oh, bye, Deborah. I would like to refresh my skills on my knitting machines. As you say, just to add another string to my bow. I stopped doing the knitting machines when I really, really hurt my back, because I was using a chair that didn't move. And of course, you'd go from one side to the other. Unlike this chair now, it moves with me. Yeah. But I was using a kitchen chair, and I really, really hurt my back. And that put me off trying to use the machine again. But now I've bought a typist chair just for the machine. And so I'm going to try it again with the swivel chair. Three-day pass for the market. Which market? A market? Well, we still haven't finished the other one that we're padding. You know, the one that's got to like be my size, if you know what I mean. She's still looking a little bit wonky part. She's not looking very realistic. Sue and I keep saying we're going to finish her off, but we sort of never get around to it. We never get around to sorting it out. I even bought her a new black polo neck sweater to go over it. Lady Jane and Paris are fine, except Paris kept falling off her plinth. I've glued her down now, Paris, but she now cannot wear her trousers because I can't get her legs off the plinth anymore. She has to wear a dress or something that goes over her head. The trouble with Paris is she's lovely and she looks pretty and everything, but she's so tiny. You know, and I don't usually crochet things for such a tiny sized mannequin. I just wish I could find a plus size mannequin like Paris, but plus sized. But the ones you find that say plus size, they say size 16. So 16 is not plus size, 16 is an average size lady. If you want something that's like 22, 24, you're going into the realms of the mannequins that they have in stores, which are hundreds of pounds. They really are hundreds of pounds. That's why I bought a cheap dress dummy form and decided to pad her up to be of ample proportions, let's say. But we haven't got her ample proportions right. Hi, Jen. She's actually wearing one of my old jogging bras. We've stuffed up. Old Paris is, oh, she's poor little soul. She fell off her plinth. Then she can't keep a wig on, you know. I have terrible trouble with Paris. And her arms, I'm having trouble keeping her arms on straight. You get her all dressed up, ready to take a photograph, and then plop, her arm falls off. Oh, hi, Yvonne. So I've not had much luck with Paris, really. Oh, the Stitches Market. Where's that then when it's at home? I don't know where that is or what it is. No, it's my arthritis is just started. I was all right with it for a while. Paris fell off a plinth. She had a big glass plinth that was like a rectangle, very, very heavy glass. And it was too heavy for Paris because it broke her leg, if you know what I mean. So I don't know whether Christine's had her bathroom finished or not. I don't know. I can't tell you about that bit. So she fell off her glass plinth and now she's on a plastic circular one that moves round in a circle that you usually put a TV on. But the trouble with that is it's too light. The glass was too heavy and the plastic is too light. So I have to be careful because she's a bit top heavy now, so she falls over like she's been on the wine, you know. This must be very popular, Liddy. Oh, bye, Christina. Oh, this thing keeps going on. A wood lazy Susan. I'm not sure what you mean by a lazy Susan. The lazy Susan in this country is like what you put food on and move around the table. We don't have one that... Is the Lazy Susan something to do with... Oh, I'm still known here with a spinny plastic. Don't forget you have a lot of words in the US that we don't know what they mean in the UK. We might speak the same language, but we really don't. Ah, yeah. I'm using a TV turntable, actually. Or it's a bit like, used for icing a cake. But maybe I could get one in wood, I don't know. But she's glued firmly to this plastic one now. I gorilla glued her onto it, and so she isn't going anywhere. It's just that she's a little bit top heavy now. So she tends to fall off her plinth. I would like to go down to Alexander Palace in London. It's nothing like your stitches, west, east, north, whatever they are. Nothing like that, but it's the biggest one in the UK. Well, at least the banging noise from the music has stopped now because it's midnight. So I could open my door if I felt like it, but I'm not opening it at this time of night. I don't like it open. Mind you, I'd come down one morning and I thought, oh, it's a bit breezy in here. And I'd only gone to bed and left the patio door wide open. It's a good job that I live in an area that isn't too bad for burglars. Not saying we don't get them, but we're not in a high burglar area. They probably know I've got nothing to steal unless they want to crochet. I don't really get to festivals anyway. Woolfest was the first one I've been to in many a year. Yeah. I stopped going to the one that's local to me, like in Manchester, because it finished up being all paper craft. There was hardly any wool in it. It was just paper craft stall after paper craft stall, and I stopped going. I don't know whether it's improved because I haven't been for years, but it just put me off. It just put me off going because I'm not interested in paper craft. I know a lot of people are, and it's like your hobby, that's your hobby, but it's not mine. So when I go to a knit and stitches event, I don't expect to see stall after stall after stall of paper craft. If you said it was a crafting one, then that's fine. Maybe they don't. It's a bit hot in Florida, isn't it, for a wool festival? Yeah, I know people travel miles and miles, don't they? Over here, traveling a distance for us takes a long time because our roads are small and windy, and we do have motorways for certain parts of the way. For us to go up to Cockermouth when we went to Woolfest, it wasn't that far miles wise, but it took us like 2.5 hours really to get there because it was when we got off the motorway, it was all like winding roads, all through the countryside. It's very pleasant, lovely trip. But I was glad that Sue was driving and not me. I mean, if you ever come to Britain, you would realise how tiny our roads are. I think that would be the most thing that would strike you, is even through towns, our roads are so small. We don't have major highways like you do. Our motorways only consist of like 3 lanes each side, So I think that you would find it a lot different for driving and that when you came over here. You know, people travel hundreds of miles, don't they, on the train and that. But I mean, for us here, like the trains are not as reliable. You know, your trains go forever, don't they? And I watched Kendra when she was going to her parents, you know, when her mum was ill. And she would travel hundreds of miles on these trains, you know, going from one end of Kansas to the other. I mean, I could travel down to London on the train, but the blooming train fares are so expensive. Yeah, I mean, the Woolfest for me, it was very nice, very lovely experience. And if you were into spinning and that, there was lots of spinning wheels and things like that. Um, I just went for the experience, really. The yarn was extremely pretty, but extremely expensive. Well, to me, it was expensive. Maybe not to other people who perhaps are more used to paying a lot more for the yarn than I am. Um, some of the things that they made were just wondrous. They'd made some lacy shawls that were like in very, very fine, like your lace weight, really. Very, very fine. And they were so, so pretty. And the colours were also beautifully dyed and that. I mean, they do get some pretty colours in the, you know, the hand spun. But unfortunately for me, I'm not in the market for being able to spend, you know, 20, £30 on one hanky yarn. Yeah. I find spinning very fascinating, but I've never had the urge to want to do it. I've known friends of mine who bought a drop spindle, but they've never really got into it, to be honest with you. I mean, I've got arthritic wrists, so I think twizzling something like that would do my wrists in. I mean, crocheting does. I mean, I was all right when I started off, but now I'm a lot slower now with my knitting because of my arms and shoulder problems. I can knit and I do knit, but I have to keep stopping because if I do too many rows on knitting, I get shoulder ache because I must hunch more now. Um, so I don't. I've got to knit some baby things. Well, I don't have to knit some baby things, but because he's a boy, I think knitting looks a lot nicer than crochet for a boy. And yeah, that's always worried me, Jen. If I wanted to go into spinning, a drop spindle, I think would make my wrist hurt. It's too much twisting and twiddling, isn't it, you know? And having to get the tension even. I mean, if I spun anything, I'm sure it'd be all thick and thin. I mean, if you ever watch Juanita, she spins. She does a lot of spinning and things like that, you know, on her videos. Yeah, I can knit. That's why I've decided I would knit baby things because I'm not too bad with baby things. But one of my nieces, she loves knitting. Um, so every Christmas, I tend to knit her either a sweater or a cardigan. And every Christmas, I swear I won't do it because it absolutely murders my shoulder. Um, but then it gives her such pleasure and she really loves it. So it's worth a bit of pain, isn't it, to make somebody something that they really want. I can't knit free at all. I can only knit with one needle underneath my arm, as Ephraim calls it, pit knitting. Um, but I can't knit on a circular needle at all. I can't knit free. I can't knit with my needles waggling about. I just can't do it. It's not the way I was taught. And I think, you know, I've knitted with two long knitting needles since I was a girl, since I was a child, really, that I just can't change the way that I knit. I mean, I've even tried doing the continental way of knitting, you know, so you don't have to throw your yarn. But although I could do this knit stitch sort of, I just couldn't do the purl. It felt so much different to me. Perhaps if I'd really put my mind to learning it. But I think it's like not teaching an old dog a new trick, isn't it? Because, I mean, heck, I'm 72 and I've been knitting since I was about 5. So it's a bit hard to get me to change everything that is in my brain. It's imprinted in my brain the way I knit. I can sort of knit on 2 needles without looking, you know what I mean? I don't have to look at all my stitches, but I would have to look what I was doing if I was doing. Yeah, I mean, if you're used to knitting circulars, it just seems. I think people who've just begun knitting, or just learned knitting in the last 5 years or 10 years or something like that, they learn to knit with circular needles, and that's the way that they're used to it. And I mean, it does sort of upset me in a way that I can't use them, because a lot of knitted cardigans like are top down and they're done in, or sweaters are top down, so you have to use a circular needle, otherwise you couldn't do them. So I bought a beautiful knitting book that was like top down sweaters and things like that, never thinking, of course, I can make the cardigans if I struggle a bit and use like 3 needles and things, but I couldn't do the sweaters because I couldn't use a circular. My tension was absolutely rubbish on the circular needle. You know, knitting like that business. When they're all flirting about, it's just not me. I have to anchor one and then knit like that with one needle not moving anything. As I say, it's just the way I was taught. Has anybody seen the latest video by Anu? Who's she called? Anu. She's done the most fantastic crocheted skirt, long skirt. I would absolutely love it, but it's on little thin wool, and I know I would never do it, but it's so pretty, so pretty. I know I would never do it because of my wrists and my arms problems. I know that if I started drop spindling, I would be in agony. So I'll give that a miss. But this skirt thing that Anu's done, it's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, she's got curly hair. I don't know if she's Spanish or what, but she's got very curly hair. I think she's called Anu or something. Yeah, you can get all different sizes of short straight needles, yeah. My mum used to like knitting on even the kiddies' needles, you know, when she was doing a band. She used to knit on those little tiny needles that are meant for kiddies to knit on. Yeah, it's brown. It's sort of one of those shaded yarns, isn't it? But not too shaded. And it's absolutely beautiful. I would love to make it. I would love it, but oh. Yeah, you can get 14-inch ones and get all the way down to, I think, 9 inches in the straight needles now. But I need the longer, the better. 14 inches, the longer, the better. Yeah, but I wouldn't like to do it in any thicker yarn. That's the only trouble, because I think it would be too heavy. It would drag down, wouldn't it? I used to knit dresses for myself when I was younger, but then, of course, it was all short dresses, wasn't it? So it wasn't like down to the ground like I wear them now. I'm very much like a Stevie Nicks kind of girl these days, yeah. I think she's used a cotton, hasn't she? She called Anu. Am I getting that right? I think she's A-double-O, isn't she? Anu. I think what she's used is a cotton. It looks like very, very fine. Yeah, I love Stevie Nicks, the way she dresses. Absolutely. I've just bought a dress from a lady that's up in the Highlands, and she's a singer. And I've just bought a really lovely dress from her. And I bid on one of her other ones, but it's just gone really over my price range. So she said she would have a look and see if she got anything else, and she'd let me have a look, see if I was interested in them before she put them up on eBay, which is very, very nice of her. Yeah, Anu does make some nice things. I mean, there's another lady that I watch, but she makes things that are very, very loose. And although I like the styles, I don't like the way she makes them so loose. That's Hector, if you watch her. I mean, the styles and the ideas are nice, but everything's on such a massive hook. You always think it's going to plunge down to the ground when you wash anything like that. Yeah, there's a lot of people that I watch, but yeah, Ruby Steadman, she makes some lovely things as well. And I like another lady who's like Spanish or something. She's Laura Sapido. Oh no, I couldn't do flexi needles. Well, I think she's called Laura Sapido. That's a Cepada or ADO. And she's Spanish, and she makes some absolutely fabulous things. But she started doing a few of her videos now in English. So I like watching hers. But with some of her Spanish ones, you can actually follow her if you kind of listen to her carefully. But you've got to sort of like Google what she says for the size of the hook or the yarn or something. She does a lot of finger knitting as well, finger crocheting, whatever. But she does some lovely, like market anime. Are you sure you don't mean Anu? Anu. I don't think I watch anime. What was I saying now? Yeah, that Laura Speedo, she does like a lot of trunk shows and that. And I love watching, she's got a yarn shop as well. And I love watching the videos because I'm too busy watching what people are wearing and the things that she's got hanging up like behind her on the stall, you know, and I keep stopping the video and having a better look at it. And she also does videos where she's doing fashion shoots because she produces magazines, obviously in Spanish. But I looked online, you know, to see if you could buy them, but they're so expensive. And she doesn't do like digital ones. She only does the actual, you know, paperback things. And to order them would be just, you know, ridiculous. Yeah, Anu Crochet, that's the one. She's, oh, it's such a lovely skirt, isn't it? If I had the patience, I would make it for myself, but I don't think I have the patience. But it is so, so pretty. I'd like to know what the actual waistline is like. She puts a big wide belt on hers because, of course, she's very slender. But me being a chunky monkey, I would like to know what it actually looks like underneath the belt. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose I could. I'm just not very good at doing things. I'm not very good at long-term projects. If I put things away, I mean, I was doing a sweater for a friend and I've put it away in the project bag. And because it's in the project bag, it just doesn't see the light of day. I am no good with project bags and doing a few things at once. They've got to be lying about in my eyesight, you know, otherwise they would not ever get done. Once they go in a bag, I might as well just say bye-bye to them. I don't know how people go when they've got like about 25 project bags all going at once. And they're saying, oh, I've done 2 rows on this. See this little marker here? I've done 2 rows on this. I've done 2 rows on the other. And I'm thinking, I just finished something. I don't know how you can do it. I mean, if you're one of those kind of people, let me know how you do it, because I can't do it. I cannot work 2 or 3 rows on one project, put it away. I would forget where I was up to. I'd forget what hook size I was doing or what knitting needles I was doing. I would forget everything. Oh, I couldn't cope with 10 projects. I couldn't physically cope. I usually have about 2 or maybe 3. But I mean, how do you go back to them once you've put them down? How do you remember where you're up to, what you're doing? You know, when you bring it out and you've not worked on it for 2 or 3 months, how do you get back into it again? Yeah, 3 projects would be well enough for me. I think I've got 2 at the moment on the go. Well, actually, I've got 3, but one's what I call hibernation. Yeah, I would lose the bit of paper there. Honestly, I would lose a bit of paper. I'm always afraid if I leave things like hibernating and stuff like that, when I go back to them and I find I'm a ball short, but it's been like 3 years since I bought the yarn, you know, and you're like, I'm never going to get another ball now. So to me, that's just like waste. I'd rather get on with it, and then there's a chance I could still buy another ball if I'm short, you know. Yeah, even a hat. I mean, if I start a hat, I do a hat from start to finish. I don't put it down. With a shawl, I may do 2 things at once when I'm doing a shawl. And a blanket, I don't do them. Apart from this baby blanket, of course. Well, this has took me too long. It's took me exactly a week, really, to do it. But to me, that's too long. But it's in fine wool. That's my excuse. It really is in fine yarn. I was hoping I was going to finish it tonight, but I don't think I will. It's 12:30 now, and I've not even gone round it twice yet. I've just got to do the edge. I'm going round for the 2nd row now, but I've got another side to do before, that much to do, and then another side to do before I've done the 2 rows. Then I've got to decide what edging I'm doing. Oh, I wouldn't be talking to a blanket if I had to rip it back. I'll rip something back once, but then if it's not right the 2nd time, then that's it. It's scrapped. It's binned. I haven't got the patience to do it 3 times, because by then the yarn looks like a dish rod, doesn't it? Because you've unravelled it twice. And I mean, I know your hands are clean, but when you've been unravelling things twice, it's just rubby. I just feel like scrapping that ball altogether and starting again with a new ball, because it looks like an old rag when you've unravelled it twice. If I put something in timer, I might as well just take it back, unravel it, and I was like that when I started doing Doris Chan patterns. My friend said to me, who's this Japanese woman you keep swearing at? I used to be, you've got to be kidding. That's ridiculous. I was sick of flipping from one page to another. Doris's patterns, you start off doing a cardigan, and then it tells you to work rows 1 something to something for the sweater pattern, but to stop when you get to a certain place. So then you get to that certain place, you go back to the pattern you started with, and then she said, for this row, that row, and the other row, work as this cardigan on this page. So then you go to that page and you do that. And all the time you have to keep flicking backwards and forwards to the page that's got the abbreviations in it, because you get messed up with, oh, because she'll do yoke row 1 and then she'll do ordinary row 1 or something. So if you're doing a yoke row 1 when you shouldn't be doing a yoke row 1, it oh, hi Cheryl. It really, but once you get used to her, once you get used to her, then you know you can work them no problem. But when the first one I did, I absolutely swore at her. My language towards Miss Chan was not very nice at all. She was not my favourite woman. But I was determined to do them because I loved all the patterns so much. I was determined I wouldn't. Short rows in crocheting are a little bit tricky because, you know, you have to put bust darts in and that. Thankfully, I don't have to do taxes. We don't do our own in this country unless we're self-employed. My little business has never reached the stage where I need to fill a tax form in, if you know what I mean. Don't make enough profit. I can go up to a certain level of extra money before I go into a tax bracket because we get paid so little for our pension. So, and I don't make hardly any profit out of anything that I make. So I've kept all my receipts and everything just in case the tax man ever comes to call. So I've got everything. The trouble with the tax men is they seem to think that everything that comes into your pocket is yours. And as you know, it's not. Because when you sell anything, you know, a fraction of it is yours. The rest of it is costs. Advertising costs, the money they take off you for, you know, for selling it on, say the money they take off you, the money they take off you in PayPal. So I've never ever reached anywhere near the limit where I have to pay taxes. I don't do knit-alongs and crochet-alongs, I'm afraid to say. I'm not a party person when it comes to things like that. You know, if everybody else is doing something, then I don't want to do it. I'm a rebel. If I know that 100 people are doing this they tend to be blankets anyway, Afghans or whatever, which are not in my realm. So if anybody's like a crochet along, I think, nah. I know that a lot of the crocheters are always in entries into this competition and that competition, and I'm just not into that. You know, when they say knit a shawl with something to do with your favourite characters in a book, and I'm thinking, nah, not for me. A lot of people like doing that sort of thing, but I don't. I would get too impatient with a knit along, especially if one of these where they only tell you so much of the pattern at once. You know, and if I get stuck into something, I want to finish it. I don't want to wait one next week till they issue me with the next part. And oh, I would hate that. What if I knitted it and I didn't like it? You know, they don't even show you a picture before you start, do they? No, I'd be the opposite, I think, Cheryl. I'd probably have finished that row, that bit they gave me to do. And then I'd be fed up because I'd be waiting for the next bit. No, I don't. And I don't like the ones where you have to do something that's inspired. And then you can enter it into this crochet along, this cal or whatever. And, you know, if it's this theme, you could enter it into two. And you could get two cracks at. I'm thinking, oh, what's the point? What's the point of it all? I don't want to crochet a shawl that's inspired by Romeo and Juliet. I'm sorry, but I'm just not. I'm not that way inclined. Yeah, I couldn't do a mystery one. I might do a mystery one when it's all finished and then I have to see it before I start it, yeah? Because I think if I'd put all that time in it and then I hated it when I finished it, what would I do? There's one shawl I want to do, but it's getting the colours right, isn't it? That Hotel of Bees. I know I'm late to the party, everybody else has made one, but I mean, I've seen some beautiful ones and I've seen some horrendous ones because they've got the colours wrong. So, you know. So I would have to think long and hard before I did the Hotel of Bees show. Talking about shawls, did anybody ever follow a lady called Lorraine Pugh, who was in Cyprus? She seems to have vanished off the face of the earth. Um, she never said she was going off when she made her last video, but she's not been on for about a year now. But she was all into these shawls and hand getting yarn, specially dyed in the colours that she wanted and everything like that. But she's just dropped off. The shawl behind me hasn't got a name, it's just a granny square shawl. You can Google it or you can look on Ravelry and you can find loads of patterns there. Never heard of it. She designs shawls, although she's only designed about 3. If you look on Ravelry for Lorraine Pugh, that's Pugh, she has made some lovely shawl patterns. Yeah, the only person making any money out of that, Lydia, is probably the woman who's selling the book. I don't make patterns up. I haven't got the patience. I mean, there's always people who tell me I should be doing it, I'm doing it wrong and that. I had to stop watching this woman called Christina or something or other. And she was always full of how to sell things on Etsy, how to make money on Etsy. But it didn't sort of include like our kind of crafting, if you know what I mean. She was all about, like, you have to market. And it was all, stuff that you can buy and sell a lot quicker and cheaper and stuff like that. But nothing to do with like things like ours that take about, you've got to list so many things a day. And if you don't list them, you're not going to hit the market numbers and all this jazz. And I'm thinking, she's got no idea what the crafting business is like. No, it's not squeaking actually, is it? No. It was squeaking at the beginning when I first started it. Fiberflux. Oh, I'm sure I'm subscribed to Fiberflux. I'm subscribed to so many people I cannot. keep up. They keep putting up 2 and 3 videos a week, and I can't keep up. Really, really can't. Yeah, this isn't the craft to go into if you want to make your fortune, is it, you know? I mean, Randy, she does very well with her craft shows and things, but she's probably one of the only people. Oh, and Blue Cherub, of course. But they make a lot of amigurumis and things like that, which I absolutely hate. You know, I think you've got to make novelty items or little items, don't you, to make a craft work, you know, make a craft show work. The things that I make are just not craft show sales. They're too expensive for people. And by expensive, I don't mean the dear, but I mean people go to a craft show with about $5, don't they? And expect to buy something, but oh, you know, they don't go with $30 or $50 to spend, do they? They just don't. You know, they'll admire your stuff, they'll say it's beautiful and it's lovely, but when it comes time, they just drift off and that's it. I bought a new cushion for this chair, and it's supposed to be the bee's knees and absorb all the pressure for your back, and I've got news from it. It's not. My back is hurting as much as it ever hurts, and I'm on this chair. So much for this jelly chair thing. Oh gosh. You know, these people who have this hand-dyed yarn is... Oh, I had a bit on, Jen. I must confess I had a bit on for the cost of yarn and stuff like that. Something for myself. Very little, because if you list things on Etsy, they take a lot off you. And I don't have any face-to-face. I'm going to have to move this cushion. It's just making my back sore. I don't have any face-to-face customers. Excuse me, when ow, try to get up. That is really hurting my bottom. And it's supposed to be the best ever gel cushion or whatever it is. I think my big bottom has flattened it. No, I mean, these people, have you seen these videos, Jen, where they say you should be charging $10 an hour? Yes, when I'm making a cardigan and it takes me over a week to do it. Yes, I'm sure somebody wants to pay me over $100. Well, more than that, because it takes me more than 10 hours, yeah? $200. Plus the cost of the yarn, of course. No, no way. I don't make anything because I think Etsy makes more than I do. No, well, I wouldn't. I would just, if I had to sell things for the cost of the yarn, I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't. I'd just make for my family and give up and read or something instead. You know, if they don't appreciate you, then, you know, it's just not worth it, really. Because everybody will have you work for nothing. I don't care how good of a friend they are or whatever. If they can get it for nothing, they will. You know, I've had a few people, luckily not many, a few people who don't want to pay me anything for doing it, you know. But I'm like, no. No, if I was working in an office, if I was working somewhere, if I was doing something for you, you'd have to pay me. And that's it. You know, if you want it, you have to pay for it. And if you don't want to pay for it, then you don't have it. And that's the end of it. Sounds a bit ruthless, I know. But, you know, if they don't want it, they don't have it. I'd rather give it away. I just won't. I just won't. No, if they don't appreciate me enough to pay me something for... all right, it's not what it should be. But, no. I'm afraid I would have given her 4 hats. I would have said, no, when you come back with the other 20, you can have the other 4 hats. You know what to do now when she asks you for more? Nope. No, people are not fair, Lydia. People will have you for a mug. As long as you would do it, they will have you for a mug. I can't remember how many times I've been told, oh, well, I thought you just did it for a hobby. Or, well, you're retired, aren't you? You've got your pension. Yeah, I've got my pension. You try living off it. This is my pin money or whatever you want to call it. No, don't knit forever again. Some people just want to pull a fast one over you. I had somebody who ordered 2 cardigans from me, Crochet, and never paid me. She kept giving me all these excuses. Luckily, I didn't give them to her. All these excuses about it. PayPal wasn't working and stuff like that. And then you look at what she's been buying all this hand-dyed yarn. Her PayPal must have been working, so otherwise how did she pay for them? So in the end, I just stopped asking her for them, and I advertised them on Etsy and I sold them. I thought, no. She might have been a friend at the time, but she's not one now. I would never make anything for her again because that's the way she treated me. Telling me lies. She hadn't got the money when I knew damn well she'd spent the money on bougie yarn or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. You look on Etsy about hats and see how much they sell for. And if you look at the side where it says sales and you click on the sales, and they have sold the hats for $20, $25, $30. Admitted some of them are in nice yarn. I mean, you know, wool yarn, wool. They're not in acrylic like, you know, sort of I would make them in, but, you know, and you're thinking, even if I bought the wool, which maybe would be what? I wouldn't say $20 because I wouldn't pay for hand-dyed yarn. But you could pay like, say, $10 for enough wool to make one hat. You know, if you're still selling it for $20, $30, then it's still quite a lot of profit, isn't it? But then again, there's the other end of the scale. I see things and I think, God, how do they make them for so little money? It doesn't matter. I mean, I get a lot of my yarn in the sale, but I can't really price it as if it's in the sale because then I get a customer who says, can you make me one in X colour for this size bust? So she's seen the one you've advertised. She wants it for the same price. I mean, I've had to tell a few ladies that, sorry, but you know, if you wanted one that's like 10 inches bigger, then I'm going to use more yarn. They don't like it, but so if you just priced the yarn and the jumper as if you'd paid sale price for it, and then they want you to make it in yellow or pink or purple, you have to then pay full price for the yarn. And so you can't sell it for what you sold the other one for. And then people think you're pulling a fast one. So, you know, I mean, how do you think I felt? I crochet for money, and this lady had money. And she just didn't pay me. And that's what, if she'd have been hard up for money, could have understood it. She'd have said, I don't have the money right now, I'll pay you next week or something like that. I would have waited. But no, she just blankly ignored me. Then told me lies about she hadn't got money. No. People say to me, oh, haven't you crocheted Gigi a sweater? And I say, no, because he won't wear it. He doesn't wear it. His parents wouldn't put it on him. He's got a little raincoat if it's raining, but he doesn't like wearing that. But I wouldn't dress him up. I must admit, somebody gave me a little scarf around his neck and we just took his photo. But he didn't wear it. People in this world are very rude. Well, some people. And they always want something for nothing. And if they think they can pull a fast one over on you, they will do it. And it's nasty. And I don't know why they can do it. And I tell you what, it's not always the people who don't have money that do it. It's mostly the people who do have money. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Why won't you do a dog coat? Because you're not going to pay me for it. That's why. People are funny. You've got to measure the dog and if it's for a sister's dog or a friend's dog, yeah. If they wanted me to make Gigi a coat, I would make him one. But they don't want me to. So, you know, they don't want to dress him up. They don't want him to look. But, you know, whatever. I used to make coats for my little poodle. I'm talking when I was a teenager. I used to do fabric ones and I used to line them with plastic, you know, like shower screen material and that, so that they would keep him dry. Oh, I'm sorry you think that the stream sucks. Why don't you just leave us then? We don't ask you to come. Good. I'm glad we remind you of shit. Maybe you'll leave us alone then. Is it that time of night where they're all coming out of the woodwork? Thought we'd done well tonight. You know, they don't like the channel. We don't ask them to come on. They don't want to. Yeah, the trolls are up again. We've done very well though, Cheryl. We have done well tonight. We've only had that one. Because the other young men that came in before, they were quite nice and polite, you know. They were only young, but they were quite polite. I don't mind them coming on. Don't mind the young boys coming on or young girls coming on if they're polite, you know. They want to join us and listen to us, that's fine by me, even if they don't crochet. As long as they're respectful and they're nice, then that's fine. Deep in his cups, I think he'd fell out of the bottom of his cup. At least he had them, you know, did say Manu was drunk, didn't he? So he didn't pretend to be anything other. I do have people who are usually mods, actually, but not many of them are on tonight. I think I've just got Cheryl and Craft Angel that's on tonight. All the other people who are mods, they're not on tonight for some reason or other. We've not got Ian, Nathan. You didn't type it. Somebody's typing it for you. You've been hacked, Jen. Yeah, somebody's hacked you. Yeah, if it comes up orange, it's not you. Yeah. Why do they do things like this? Do they think it's funny? Using. Yeah. I think the orange one is definitely not you. It's a pseudo. Perhaps they were hoping that I would give them a spanner. You know, I would give them a mod instead of you, Jen. Then we would have all been booted out. That used to happen a lot when I used to be on a different, when I first came on here donkeys years ago, there was different chat rooms. And they used to boot everybody out. You know, you get these people who are able to do this sort of thing. And they boot everybody out the room, you know, that we were all chatting in. We'd all go. And they just thought it was hilarious, you know, which I couldn't understand really. I thought it was a bit stupid. We'd all be having a really nice chat, you know. I used to go into a channel that was like over 50s, you know, and it was a nice channel. It wasn't one that was rude or anything like that. And we were all like people over a certain age that just like it to chat together. Oh yeah, I'll go to sleep. You go to sleep as well. You know, and everybody kept coming on the channel being, you know, really sort of rude and stuff. And you think, why? Why can they not see that everybody's having a really nice chat? It's not everybody that's a troll that's coming up orange. Don't worry about it. As long as it's your comments, that's okay. No, it was just that we had a sort of purple gen and we had an orange gen, and one of them was wrong. One of them was a duplicate, if you know what I mean. No, just because you're orange, Nancy, doesn't mean you're a troll. Don't worry about it, girl. Yeah, I just don't understand why people find it so funny to break up. Yeah, Jen got hacked. Yeah, that was it. Somebody duplicated her name. I don't know how you can do that, but apparently you obviously can. I know a guy I used to talk to, he got hacked once, and this hacked person was saying the most rude things to me, and I'm thinking, this doesn't sound like him. He's never been like this before. And I'm like, are you drunk or what? You know. And then I realized by looking at the name, it was ever so slightly different. They had a space in one place that the other guy didn't have a space. And then I realized that I was talking to somebody that wasn't the person I thought I was talking to. Because he was being so rude, and this other guy had never been rude, if you know what I mean. We'd always had a nice chat. So, but he'd gone round to lots of women that this guy talked to and done the same thing, you know, been really rude. And this original guy was going around saying, can you please go and tell such a body that I've been hacked because she thinks I've been rude and she won't talk to me anymore. She's blocked me, you know, because she thinks I'm being disgusting and stuff. And he had a real hard time to get a lot of, you know, girls to understand that it wasn't him that was sending him all these horrible messages. You know, that he was quite a nice guy and could have a nice conversation. Oh, you had to take the meatloaf out. Why was it done? I don't think I have ever made or eaten a meatloaf. I don't think I ever have. Maybe it's just something we don't have over here. Oh, right, Lydia. Enjoyed your company, love. We hope to see you very soon. Yours is like a hamburger. I don't understand. Is it kind of like minced beef, ground beef, or whatever you want to call it, baked in a loaf? I don't understand what it is. Tell me what meatloaf is. The only meatloaf I know is the singer. And I'm sure you're not cooking meatloaf in the oven. Yeah, ground beef. We wouldn't use, I don't think we make meatloaves. I don't think we do. I think that's an American thing. All right, good night, Yvonne. Yeah, I'll be going to bed very, very soon because I've been on this channel for 3 hours and 40 minutes and I was on the other one for about a half an hour. So, yeah. Yeah, do you like kind of make it in a loaf tin and then you sort of slice it, or what do you do? I mean, I have heard it and read about it in books and seen it on films, people are making meatloaf, but it seems to be quite common. Oh, look as I've got a moustache and I don't. I do, don't I? Look as I've got a moustache and I really don't. I'm very, very careful about things like that. Oh, hello, dumpster. You've got to be good. You're not going to be a rude one, are you? We've had a few of them. Yep, I'm going to be going very shortly because it's 1 o'clock nearly here in the UK. And it's time I attempted, notice I said attempted, to go to sleep. And maybe I will take a book. Like I said, I'm reading these books by Betty Hashner or something she called. These crochet mystery books, I'm reading those. Maybe I might start one when I go to bed and see if it makes me nod off. Although I'm quite wired up tonight, with talking to everybody and that, but I should be so tired if I don't get some sleep tomorrow. Thank you, Cheryl, and everybody else. I hope you have the rest of I won't say sleep well because you're all quite middle of the afternoon, isn't it? So my chat's gone off again. Oh, I think it was just in here that they've hacked you. Yeah, too early for you to go to bed, Cheryl. So I'll say good night to everybody and thank you all for your company. We've had a lovely evening, apart from a couple of trolls, but yeah. So I hope to see you all next week if you're all around and about, and happy crafting and enjoy the rest of your weekend. So bye, everybody. Bye-bye. She's called Betty Heshner, I think she's called. She does things like by hook or by crook, or you better not die, which is KNOT, better not die. I think if you look them up on Amazon, I think you'll find them on there. Yeah. Nighty night.